credit-controlled real estate transactions. Now, consumers are taking a much more active role because they're smarter, more informed, and they're listening to the Barry and Larry Real Estate Show during ATX. Ask the experts.
We're helping lead that organization into the world that all realtors should be, and that's your world as consumers.
The Barry and Larry Real Estate Show, Tuesdays, 2 to 3 p.m. on KLZ 560.
On the next Wake Up with Steve Curtis, we take up the issue of free-range parenting with the woman who coined the term, Lenore Skenazy. We'll also speak with Dr. Gary Swanson, a child and adolescent psychiatrist at Allegheny General Hospital in Pittsburgh, for his views as the father of 9 on what some are calling the craziest idea in years. It's bound to be an interesting discussion, and it all begins right here at 6 a.m. on the next
KLZ AM 560, KLZ HD
Listen live at KLZ560radio.com.
KLZ 560, a corporate broadcasting God and Country station.
Acceleration, don't fail me now.
It's time for Drive Radio, presented by Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. Whether you need help diagnosing a problem,
I want to ask you a bunch of questions. I want to have them answered immediately.
or just want to learn about all things automotive,
Hey, how exactly does the Positrack rear on the Plymouth work?
it just does. Then you've come to the right place. So start your engines, buckle up, and get ready to ride. Drive Radio starts now on KLZ 560 The Source.
And Drive Radio does start now. John Rush, Dennis Brewster, Drive Radio. Here we are.
There we are. Good morning.
It's a beautiful Saturday out.
Yeah, it is. It's a little chilly from where I came from, but
It's supposed to be a nice day.
Yeah.
So I left with a jacket, got down here, got out of the truck. I'm like, what am I wearing a jacket for? It was pretty nice out. So I left the jacket in the truck and came up.
Yeah, I put the sweat top on because sometimes it's a little chillier in here when they have the air on.
Yeah, it's not bad today. Sometimes
not too bad.
There was one day this week where it was,
Chilly.
Yeah. Now, don't let this weather fool you. I was watching several different news programs last night before I went to bed, and some of them were talking about, getting ready for winter, and there was one of the stations that actually had a little Consumer Report tire study. Those are some things we'll get into today, because don't let this nice weather fool you. Winter is around the corner.
Yeah. And don't be one of those customers that has to wait for the last minute and then it's a panic situation.
Or don't be one of those guys that doesn't do anything and you go out in the first snowstorm and you're not ready.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that really torque me off. Sorry, I'm just venting.
Yeah.
Nothing, nothing, because it clogs up everything because some knucklehead can't put good tires on before he goes out onto the road.
Go up the hill. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, it does snow here. We live in Colorado.
Right.
This isn't Southern California. This is Colorado. The white stuff flies from the sky here.
And it could rain first and then by nightfall freeze. So you better have some good tires.
And it never fails. The first 1 to 2 snowstorms of the year, it's like chaos.
Yes.
So, here's my recommendation. We may get a little bit of snow Wednesday night into Thursday. Really hard to tell at this point. That probably won't be the big snowstorm to start the season off. When that first one does come, you're better off just staying at work or staying home.
Right.
If you can.
Right.
Maybe you can't.
Yeah.
If you can, that's your best bet. Now, a lot of us can't.
Right. Right. I have to go no matter what.
Exactly. We have to get out in it. All right. So it's Halloween today.
Right.
So I kind of threw this out there as far as the question of the day. I'm not sure where this will go. What's the spookiest car you've ever known? Now, that could be spooky as in looks, could be as in spooky when you drove it. You're like, man, I shouldn't be behind the wheel of this thing.
Yeah.
Any number of things could fit into the spooky category. What's the spookiest car you've ever known?
Could have started on its own. You never know.
You could have some car that just had a mind of its own and did whatever. Yeah, Christie, exactly. So that was kind of what I was thinking about. What's one of the craziest, spookiest cars you've ever known? 303-477-5600 is our number. Coming up today at 11 o'clock, we've got Chris West. He is the OnStar dealer advocate. We had a caller last week say, you guys ought to get somebody on from OnStar and talk about how OnStar works. And especially when it comes to, after the vehicle has ran out of OnStar or you buy a vehicle that now has OnStar on it, what does that mean? How does that work? Well, we've got the guy that's on the after the dealer sells the product. So he's on the aftermarket side of the fence, if you would. He is the OnStar dealer advocate, and he's got some great things he's going to talk about today. I talked to him earlier this week. I won't let the cat out of the bag, so you need to listen to 11 o'clock and find out more about all of how that works.
You know, I was working with the dealership at the time that OnStar first came out, and I actually got to go see it firsthand back in like 1995. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Now, there's a clip, maybe this first hour I'll play it if I can find it. There's actually a really great audio clip of somebody that calls into a radio show, and I think the title of the clip is Blonde Star, not OnStar.
Okay.
I'll see if I can find it. If
That's
I can,
scary.
it may correlate really well, actually. I'll see if I can. I should have done that ahead of time, but it just triggered my brain. I just thought about it a minute ago. But hey, ultimately, we are here to talk to you, answer questions. Anything you want to talk about, that's what we're here for. 303-477-5600. Please call us, and we'll get you on air.
Especially if there's something you want to know, what should you be doing right now to get your car ready?
That is, number one question of the day should be, how do I get ready for winter?
Yeah, what should I be doing? Yep.
And there's lots of things.
It's a shame, too, because you could have came to the car clinic we had.
Which, by the way, thanks for doing that.
Yeah.
That was a blast.
You bet. Oh, I had a good time.
I had a blast.
The state patrolman was really good, and now he wants to come on a couple more times. So
it was great.
That'll be good.
Anxious to get him back on. I'll be at SEMA this week. Actually, leaving right after the show. Actually, heading to Vegas. Vegas on Halloween. I think I must be crazy.
Yeah.
That'll probably be the spookiest thing ever.
Scary thing.
That's scary all by itself, for a fact. Yeah. But I'll be there. Start that on Monday. I'll be there a couple of days, so hopefully we'll even get some other great information, interviews, things like that we can look at down the road. I typically am not one of those to run around with a recorder and say, hey, what about such and such? I'm going to put you on air. I really like to just get those guys back in the future, and we've done that a lot over the years, and it really works out better that way. You end up with a lot more uninterrupted time from them doing it that way. So typically I'm roaming around just trying to figure out who can come on air at a later date, which works out really great.
That's really good.
So now what I will tell you is if there's things you would like me to investigate, and I do this every year, a lot of you will send me emails and different things. If there's something there, a product, I had a call yesterday, somebody said, hey, can you check out such and such while you're there? I'm like, sure, be happy to. So if there's anything that you would like me to look at while I'm there, send me an email. The website, by the way, is done. It's up. It's not completely perfect. I've got a few little tweaks that I need to do, but it is up. It's redesigned. It looks good. I appreciate Kurt up at Aaronworks in Lafayette for doing that for us. It looks really, really well. Go to drive-radio.com. All of the contact information is there. You can find all of our different shops, all of our sponsors. Everything is there, and we've made the site a lot more easy to navigate, look at, whether it comes to new car reviews, finding a podcast. I got some tips and tricks that is blank right now. That's one area that I've got to get. Updated, but it's called this. It's this TIME thing.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
I got to find enough time to squeeze that in. So, all right, JR is up first. JR, welcome to Drive Radio. We have a line open, 303-477-5600.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Battery additives. You brought that up. It was, I don't know, about 6 months ago.
Yes, yeah. Thermoil is the name of the company.
It's called what?
Thermoil.
Therm.
Therm. Thermoil.
Have you guys tested that? You going to test that? Or?
We have, and in fact, I just my brother has a golf cart on his place down in Texas. He was trying to figure out the other day how to keep the battery corrosion down, and I said, "Listen, I got a great product for you. Just go online, buy this product called Thermoil, and it'll tell you exactly how to do it, and off you go."
I have stuff in stock.
You use it, right?
Yeah.
It works.
Yeah, we have it in stock. So.
Now, it's for maintenance-type batteries, not maintenance-free batteries.
Okay, so some of you can open up the caps then, right?
It has to be a battery you can take the caps off of, and there's a procedure that you go through to actually put the oil in. You take a certain amount of, depending upon where the level of the battery is, you take a certain amount out, make sure each cell is equal, and then you add the Thermoil on top.
Okay, now, is that supposed to extend the battery life, or is that...
No, the main thing that it will do, and the reason why it does extend battery life, it's not necessarily for extending battery life, but it will because you're keeping the corrosion. The venting of the battery basically is eliminated.
Right, and then also when you do get that venting happen, it goes across the top of the battery. It'll actually create a draw and discharge your battery.
Right, which the thermal eliminates.
Yeah, it eliminates it. Kind of puts a coating on top to keep the
right.
fluid from coming out.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
The gassing. It keeps the battery from gassing.
Right.
Okay.
And every
great.
battery gasses, believe it or not, every battery gasses when it's being charged.
Right.
Okay, and that stays into the life of the battery.
That's right.
So it dies,
That's exactly right.
Okay.
Yeah, and where it came from is they developed it mainly for the golf cart, forklift, large RV, semi. That industry is what it really was designed for initially, but they found that, hey, this works for any wet cell battery that you can take the caps off of.
Okay. All right, thanks a lot.
You're very welcome. Appreciate the phone call. Wally is next. Wally, what's going on, man?
Hey, just bought this 94 F-150 with a 5.8. Was wondering if it's worth putting a K&N filter into it.
Yes.
And do you know if they do a cold air return?
You know what? Hang on. I can look real quick. It only takes a second to do that. Hang on 1 second here. We can go right to the website and find out. Dennis, somebody's trying to call you, Dennis.
I know. Sorry.
Ringing away over here.
Yep.
That's all right. Okay, 94 F-150. And I got to go back a ways. That's not a new car, Wally.
No, it's not.
Which is actually not a bad thing. It's actually a good thing.
Probably better
Yeah,
than
we
me.
talked about that last week.
Yep, there's nothing wrong with that at all. Let's see here, F-150 and the 5.8. I'm pretty sure they do because I remember putting some of those on back in the day. $262.99 is what it costs. Part number 572542. Estimated basically 10 horsepower gain.
Okay, and would that help with the gas mileage at all, or is it mostly just horsepower?
It's mostly horsepower, but what I used to tell all the customers I had back then was, listen, if you'll keep your foot out of it and drive it, not like you stole it, but just drive it normally, yes, you'll see an increase in fuel economy.
Okay,
Okay?
all I needed.
So you I can't remember last week. You were either getting that thing. You didn't have it last week yet, did you?
It's going to be delivered to me Monday or Tuesday. It actually was bought new in Pueblo by a 72-year-old man.
Wow.
94 now, can't drive.
Wow.
The guy that bought it from his family took it to Florida, and I ended up buying it, and he's bringing it back to me this weekend. And it's wintered in Arizona, summered in Colorado, never towed anything. It's got 94,000 miles
That'll
on
be
it.
a nice truck.
Yeah.
What color is it?
It's the kind of a desert tan and that off-white that they did.
Oh yeah, no,
combination.
that'll be a good-looking truck. Good deal.
So the one thing I really liked about it was that he special ordered it with the manual locking hubs and the manual shifter on the floor, which is what I wanted.
Yeah, right on. Good deal. Yeah, that'd be a
Very
good
hard
truck.
to break them.
Yeah, good for you. That's a great truck.
So
Good stuff.
you guys have a great
You
day.
too, Wally. Have a great afternoon. Appreciate it very much. We got calls coming in. Larry's answering as we speak. 303-477-5600. Let's keep him busy. We've got a lot to talk about. It's a beautiful, gorgeous day, and I know a lot of you are outside getting things ready to go for your home and winterization and all those different things and sprinklers and
Give us a call on, what was it, your spookiest
the
car?
spookiest car you know.
Yeah. Yep. Did you have one? Is that why you came up with this?
Honestly, I don't know that I have.
Yeah.
As a technician, and this, as a technician, typically, not too many things ever, really, first of all, bothered me, but I always kept my cars, maintained well enough that rarely did I ever have a car that did things that it wasn't designed to do. I just, typically what I always found, if things are doing something they're not supposed to, it's a mechanical being.
Yeah.
Being is not the right word, but you get my drift.
Right.
It's mechanical, not spiritual, which means there's always an explanation.
Right. Right.
Sorry,
And
there just
everything
is.
can be fixed.
And everything can be fixed. So I never really had any issues that way.
Yeah.
So frankly, no, I don't know that I've ever owned a quote unquote spooky car.
Right.
Now, I've heard of some people and I've heard some customers talk about that, but I've never really experienced that. Let's do one more call before we go to a break. Dell, you're next. What's going on, sir?
Hey, Johnny, how you doing?
Oh, great.
Hey, I wanted to let you know I unlocked the Ford GT the other day, and I didn't know it existed, but up in Boulder, there's this called the Shelby Collection Museum.
Yep. Stephen Tebow owns it, I believe.
I don't know, but they've got some beautiful stuff in there.
I'm pretty sure he only opens a museum, I think, don't quote me on this, but I think 3 or 4 times a year.
Yeah, I think they got hours up there for like Saturdays and Sundays. The price is reasonable, but
it's very limited on when they actually let you in, but by IRS tax code, I believe it has to be open a certain amount of times a year to be able to be classified as a museum and so on, I believe.
I know you got some beauty. You got the little Ford Falcon sedan delivery that Shelby drove when he first got started, and they've got the 65 Shelby up there.
I should actually, I know them. I should set something up where we could actually go up there and do a show from the from that.
I've been walking a Ford GT up there. What a nightmare that is.
So what happened? Why did you have to go and lock it?
They had a show or something, and they were tired, and they pulled the car inside, and he dropped the keys on the floor, and when he shut it, it locked itself up, and then the battery went dead.
Oh, boy. Not good. Actually, and you are right, Dell. It does say on here, it's Saturdays only 10 to 4. So actually, it's open more than I thought it was. So it's Saturdays 10 to 4. It's located at 5020 Chaparral Court in Boulder. Dell, we got to run to a break. Appreciate the phone call and the update on that very much. And Randy, hang tight. We're going to be right back. Don't go away. We got a couple of things to go over here that you need to listen to on Drive Radio. I'm your host, John Rush, KLZ 560.
We've all been there. You're under the hood and suddenly realize you don't have the parts you need. Or even worse, you don't know what parts you need. Well, at Napa Auto Parts, we have ASE certified parts specialists that'll make sure you find that right part. One covered by a warranty good at any one of 6,000 Napa locations. Yeah, finding the right part might not be easy, but fortunately, finding the right parts store is. Go to NapaOnline.com for the location nearest you. Napa, get the good stuff.
Have you ever been ripped off by an auto shop? Chances are you have at least felt like you were, and as a technician myself, I get it. So how do you know who to trust? The answer is to always choose a Colorado Select Auto Care Center. Colorado Select is a hand-picked group of independent shops who all adhere to the highest standards of customer service. They use ASE certified master technicians who all offer at least a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on repairs, far exceeding most dealerships. Find a shop nearest you at coloradoselect.com. In Parker, you need the only Colorado Select Auto Care Center in Douglas County. Extreme Auto Repair on South Dransfeld. Right now, save 20% off any repair if you mention KLZ. Call 720-573-6445.
At Arvada West Auto and Truck, we won't try to impress you with a waiting room with a big screen TV and lattes. What we will do is give you good service and expert repair. We pride ourselves in being interested in you and your vehicle. We stand behind our work with the power of Napa Auto Care and a 3-year or 36,000-mile warranty. And if needed, we do have a customer waiting area. Come see us at Arvada West Auto for all your repair needs. We are located at 11752 West 64th Avenue in West Arvada, or call 303-422-1065 for an appointment.
Your car's fuel economy was never better than when it was new. But time and miles have robbed your car of its MPG and performance. Service managers recommend BG44K to remove carbon and restore mileage in just 1 tank of fuel. In fact, dealerships nationwide use BG44K almost 3-to-1 over any other product. To find a shop at BG Products, go to bgfindashop.com.
BG. Can you imagine selling your car next week and saying to the buyer, hey, don't worry, because the engine is covered against failure for life. It's called the Lifetime Protection Plan for the Engine from BG Products. Now imagine having this huge benefit free with your next oil service when you remember these 2 letters, BG. BGMOA is available at over 20,000 shops nationwide. Find yours at bgfindashop.com. That's bgfindashop.com. BG.
Every car has a transmission, and every transmission needs servicing, but most drivers ignore their transmission. Don't fix what ain't broke, as they say. Larry's Automotive is the area's most respected transmission and driveline repair facility, and they'll tell you that most of the expensive repairs they do could easily have been avoided with regular scheduled maintenance. Maybe they were told by a mechanic that their transmission fluid was getting dark, or maybe there was a slight hesitation between gears. Whatever the case, they are now faced with expensive repairs. Larry's technicians are ATRA and ASE certified, and their warranty covers you even if you're out of town. And
20 seconds, guys.
Better for transmission repair than Larry's Automotive. The truth is, they would have preferred to do the preventive maintenance instead. Larry's Automotive and Transmission Repair, the Driveline Pros on Bradburn Boulevard in Westminster. Call 303-427-2108. 303-427-2108.
John Rush, Restoration, KLZ 560, and it's an absolutely beautiful Saturday morning outside. I almost said afternoon. It's not quite afternoon yet. Getting close.
And the wind's not even blowing. That flag is just sitting still.
No, it was a little bit this morning up in my neck of the woods in Boulder, but it's actually pretty nice right now. And looking out our window here, this is a great view, by the way.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Doesn't get much better than this.
No, it doesn't.
So if you haven't been out and about, get out and about.
Unless you're sitting at our shop, because we kind of got the same view. We do.
We do. No,
Yeah.
You're right about that. Randy is up next. What's going on, Randy?
Well, I'll tell you, I was going to have some work done at Arvada West, but I just heard the commercial, and they don't offer lattes, so I'm having second thoughts now.
Yeah.
I bet you Paula would run down the street and grab you one, though.
Well, actually, there is a Starbucks very close by.
That's what I mean.
But she'll go get it
She just
for
run
you.
up the street and get it for you. I know her well enough to know that.
You know what? She probably would.
She would. Yeah.
Okay, now to the serious stuff. Okay, so I've got an 07 Suzuki SX4, and I'm trying to get the thing all up to speed here, and it needs a lot of front-end suspension work. So first question, Suzuki parts, as you probably know, are a little bit on the expensive side. And
Yes, they are.
I was going to go with Napa NCP parts, and I guess that stands for Napa chassis parts. So, and they have a lifetime warranty, so am I going to be fine with those?
You would be, but they also have Ultram too.
Now, are you looking for just, all stock stuff, or do you want something that's a little more performance-based?
No, it's not a performance car. I just want something that's going to last. And the NCP stuff has lifetime warranty on it. So
It does. Now, for everybody listening, just as a side note, sometimes you may not find everything you need at Napa on a Suzuki. Just saying, because sometimes it happens. There's another great source. These guys have specialized in the Suzuki end of things for a number of years, and it's a website called Calmini, CALMINI. And they have a ton of stuff. Now, do they have everything for your vehicle? I have no idea. I haven't looked in a while. I used to sell a bunch of their components, but just for a lot of you Suzuki guys that are out there, not just you, but they specialize in Suzuki, Nissan, Toyota, and Isuzu.
okay, I'll keep that in mind. But so you're absolutely right. On some of the things, I do have to go through Suzuki, like some of the seals and things like that.
Correct.
But on the front suspension, so I'm doing inner outer tie rods. What else? The struts.
Okay.
Strut mounting plate.
Okay.
And I was wondering whether or not I need to replace those boots on that inner tie rod. I mean, buy new boots, or if the ones that are on there can be reused.
Are they all cracked and weather checked and all that? Or are they still in pretty good shape?
No, they look like they're still in pretty good shape. I just wondered if those little clamps,
You can buy new clamps.
Okay.
So you could reuse those.
Okay. And
Napa, and by the way, Napa sells the clamps by themselves. You can just buy a what do they call a boot clamp?
Right.
You can buy a boot clamp all by itself.
But also, another chance is Napa does have the Ultram line, which is the import line, and when you get those are actually Suzuki parts. They just sell them for a lesser price.
Got it.
So you might want to try that Ultram line. They might not.
How do you spell that?
It's ALTR.
So Ultram, with an A. Okay.
Yeah.
Ultram.
Yeah.
Got it.
But what happens is sometimes they don't carry everything.
Right.
But, and are you going to do this work yourself, or are you going to have
No,
Arvada West?
I'm gonna have Arvada West do the front end. I'm just gonna replace the rear shocks. I can handle that. The front end, no.
Because
they can source them and figure it out.
Source this out too, and if you tell them, whatever you want, you can tell them I want to kind of stick with the Suzuki parts. They can find those because there's other vendors out there that we use that I really don't want to mention over there, but there's other options.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing was, since the outer tie rods, obviously, and then the sway bar links, I'm going to replace those too, but they're showing some wear in there and some movement. So I don't know whether I should replace the control arms or if those should still be okay.
How many miles are on it? I don't remember, Randy. I'm sorry.
It just hit 100,000.
You'd have to look at the bushings that are in them and see how bad they are.
You know, with suspension pieces, you kind of want to have them checked because by a guy who does alignments, because if not, what happens is that people are going to say, well, they're wore out or they're not wore out. You know, we want to make sure that they're actually bad because you do want to have a little bit of play in those. You know, you don't want to have them so tight that they can't move because then you know, when you're driving.
Ride rough when you do that.
Yeah. You want a little bit of looseness in there.
That's the downside. For example, you can change some of those out a lot of times and put a urethane bushing in, for example, which work great. And that's always a great option for a lot of people, but it will make it stiffer.
Yeah. And then
they don't have as much give.
Yeah. And then it's really stiff, but sometimes you want that looseness in there a little bit, you know.
It depends on the ride quality you're looking for.
Yeah.
I was trying to stay away from replace the control arms because they're kind of pricey, you know, but if they're shot, they're shot. But I just didn't know what to expect on 100,000 miles. So.
Well, and again, there may very well be some aftermarket where you don't have to put entire control arms on it. I don't know this because I haven't done Suzuki work in a long time. You have to look and see if somebody makes a replacement bushing, whether it be urethane or not, for that, which might save you some money.
And you have to press them out most of the time with the press. So.
Yeah, get the old ones out, and you got.
It depends if you can get the bushing. That's
right.
And Dorsey would know that. He
can look it up and figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some great, aftermarket companies that build bushings for a lot of different vehicles. So, I was one back in the day where we rarely couldn't, re-bush something, even if it meant I had to, I used to keep a box of just old, extra urethane bushings and so on, and sometimes I'd make a bushing, work for a particular application. So rarely did I ever have to throw a part away because a bushing went bad.
Yeah, and you can run up a lot of money replacing all these suspension pieces. So I would really wait for Dorsey to tell you what you really need and then go from there.
Well, right now I'm just going with the stuff that I know is worn because I had the car up on a lift and we could see what had movement in it.
Got it. Well, and again, the best way for you to look at that, by the way, is anybody else out there looking, if you've ever got a question outside of ball joints, this does not work for ball joints, but the rest of the front end components to see whether or not anything's worn out or not, the easiest way to do it is get in the car, start it up, put the emergency brake on, have your wife or somebody else that's around, wife, neighbor, kid, whoever, hop in the front seat, sit in the front seat. You get on a creeper or a blanket, look underneath the front end and have them just rock the steering wheel back and forth about a quarter of a turn back and forth. You'll see what's loose and what isn't.
Right.
Okay.
If it doesn't look loose at that point in time, everything there is good and don't mess with it.
Yeah.
One last question. I'll let the next guy go. Front differential seal is leaking a little bit, and Paula said that's not that big a deal to replace the seal. But I was wondering, does that differential does not have a gasket? I believe so.
Probably doesn't.
Yeah, so that's normal. I mean,
yeah.
No issue with the parts meeting up there. So.
No, a lot of those, and that's got an aluminum differential in the front. A lot of those mating surfaces, GM actually started this eons ago. I think they were one of the first ones that did it, where they used a special type of a sealant between the case halves to seal it, and there was no gaskets there.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's most likely just the seal then.
And a lot of the other. Yeah, well, I can't remember the name of it. It only dries with absence of air.
Right.
It's the opposite of what you think.
And actually, what they do is they want to seal it and then let it sit for a little bit before it put back on because any kind of movement will break the seal.
And a lot of other manufacturers, it was interesting, how sometimes one manufacturer can pioneer something. GM was kind of a pioneer in that, and everybody else sort of caught on, and a lot of companies do that now.
I know Nissan was like second because they followed everything GM did for a while there.
Okay, well, I'll let you know how that latte thing works out.
Yeah, sounds great. All right, Randy.
Yeah, otherwise, I'm going down there to visit them.
That's exactly right.
Give me a latte. I'm coming down to visit.
Right now, you get a pumpkin spice latte.
I know.
So yesterday on the air, this is a side note. Last night, we were talking that there's a pumpkin patch up in my neck of the woods that, they sell a ton of pumpkins. I mean, this thing there's like pumpkins everywhere. You could see it right off Northwest Parkway. Pumpkins galore. So once everybody's done buying all their pumpkins and things are starting to settle down, they let the cows out to eat all of the pumpkins. Cows must really love the pumpkins. So what I was asking yesterday is, okay, by the time we get around to Christmas, do we have pumpkin spice Angus?
Yeah. Okay. Are we due for a break?
We are actually.
Yeah.
We actually are. We'll be right back. Don't go away. We have lines open 303-477-5600. John Rush, Dennis Brewster. We'll be right back here on KLZ 560.
We breathe dirty air every day, and believe it or not, the air you breathe inside your vehicle can be even more polluted than the air outside. Thankfully, many of the vehicles sold today are equipped with a cabin air filter to help keep the air inside your car clean. If you are driving a car with a dirty or clogged cabin air filter, not only are you breathing dirty air, but it also puts a strain on your car's HVAC system, decreasing its performance and longevity. K&N, the inventor of washable automotive air filters, has applied its decades of high-flow, washable air filter design to cabin air filters for cars and trucks. These robust filters clean and freshen the air coming into your car's interior and are electrostatically charged to hold dust and dirt. They feature a pleated filter media that helps capture most mold, mildew, fungus, spores, bacteria, germs, pollen, and other allergens, while still allowing a high volume of airflow. They are strengthened by a custom design frame for a great fit and years of use. Best of all, K&N cabin air filters are washable and clean up easy with the K&N Refresher Cabin Air Filter Cleaning Kit. They typically only need cleaning every 12 to 15,000 miles or once a year, but you can wash them more often if you'd like, and K&N backs them up with a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. They come with easy-to-follow installation instructions so you can easily replace your old filter, usually in 5 to 10 minutes. Keep the air inside your car clean and fresh without continually burying and throwing away disposable filters. Find the K&N washable cabin air filter for your car or truck at knfilters.com. That's knfilters.com.
Life has consequences, and a consequence of a poorly maintained fleet of work vehicles is the unfortunate timing of a breakdown. Your customers are counting on you, and one breakdown could be a deal breaker for the follow driver who's trying to reach. Maybe that customer has clients of his own who are demanding an explanation, and so on. How long do you expect to be in business when your customers think you are unreliable? Your solution? Tilden Total Car Care. Using state-of-the-art software to monitor each vehicle in your fleet, Tilden can actually breakdowns. Protect your profits, minimize downtime, and sleep better. Call Tilden Total Car Care today and ask about their fleet maintenance program. Call 303-797-7977. 303-797-7977. Tilden Total Car Care, helping as many people as they can, as fast as they can. Federal in Bellevue and Inglewood, and 6th and Peoria in Aurora.
I'm Isaac Bouchard from Bespoke Autos. As a sponsor, I'm so excited to help Drive Radio because John and his team, along with the Colorado Select Service Centers, strive so hard to bring the best possible experience to the challenging world of auto care. At my company, Bespoke Autos, we do the same when it comes to buying and leasing cars, trucks, and SUVs, whether new or used. Bespoke means custom tailored, and that's what we do. Custom tailor to your vehicle needs. Find out more at denverautobrokers.org. That's denverautobrokers.org.
John Rush here. I want to talk to you about your pets. I know it's a little weird on Drive Radio to talk about pets, but it's something that a lot of us have. Pets. I have one. I brought a couple of gentlemen along with me today that also have pets. So, David and Dan.
Hey, John.
Dan,
hey,
first
John.
of all, what kind of pet do you have?
I've got a Shih Tzu.
Okay.
Little black Shih Tzu.
Okay. David, you.
I have a 3.5-year-old Alaskan Malamute.
So, question I have for you two guys is, are they a part of the family?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, my gosh. Kona is like blood.
Okay, so if something happens to them, making sure they have proper care is like of the utmost, I'm guessing?
Oh, it's very, very important. Money's usually no object.
Okay, so I have a great place you guys can actually take your pets to get them taken care of. It's the Lone Tree Veterinary Medical Center. It's owned by Dr. Bill and Nancy Moyle. They're longtime supporters of Drive Radio, and not only do they want to make sure that your pets get taken care of, but they've also got a full showroom of goodies. So if you need anything for your pet, they've got prescription dog food, they've got a full pet grooming facility, pet training. So if you've got a puppy or maybe even an older dog that you need to have some training done on, this is a one-stop shop. And guys, you probably know this as well as I. When you walk into most veterinarian clinics, what do they smell like?
Oh, not good. Like animals.
You get my drift.
Oh,
right?
yeah,
Okay.
unfortunately.
When you walk in here into Lone Tree Veterinarian Clinic, it is not that way at all. It smells like a really professional, just like any doctor's office you would walk into. That's the way this thing works. So I would encourage you guys, use them. It's Dr. Bill and Nancy Moyle. Their phone number 303-708-8050. You can find them at LoneTreeVet.com.
At Napa, we're always trying to make the great parts we sell even better. From the bacteria-killing surface on our cabin air filters to our revolutionary new Adaptive One brakes. And every Napa part is covered by a warranty good at any of our 6,000 Napa Auto Parts stores. Yeah,
15 seconds.
Auto Parts store, but we've spent the last 80 years making sure we were anything but average. Go to NapaOnline.com for a location nearest you. Napa, get the good stuff.
All right, John Rush, Dennis Brewster from Extreme. Drive Radio, the program, every Saturday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. If you've ever missed a show in the past, you can catch them on all of our podcasts, which we do every single week. You can find that on our website at drive-radio.com. Also find us on Facebook at Drive Radio. And then I may tweet some this weekend. We'll see. I don't tweet a lot. I should do more of that. But it's at Drive Radio_John is our Twitter handle. I should see if I can just get Drive Radio, but I think it's already taken. I don't know why it would be. Anyways, side note. All right, so we got a little treat for you. We have the OnStar guy coming on, Chris is coming on at 11 to talk about OnStar, the aftermarket, things like that. But I thought I'd tease you with a little bit of Blonde Star. It's not OnStar, it's Blonde Star. Listen up.
The following conversation is real. It took place on Tuesday, June 8th of 2004 between a Blonde Star advisor and a subscriber.
Blonde Star emergency, this is Steve. Is there an emergency in your vehicle?
Oh my god. I've locked myself in my car and the keys are on the outside.
Ma'am,
oh my god.
Ma'am, I need you to calm down.
Okay, it's just the windows are rolled up and I'm starting to sweat. My keys are on the outside.
Now, your keys are on the outside of the vehicle?
Yes, oh my god.
Now, does your car have automatic locks or...
Yes.
Here's what I need you to do. Take hold of the inside of your door handle there. Are you doing this? The shiny thing. Grab the shiny thing.
Okay, I've got it.
Okay, now give that a tug.
Okay.
Did it open?
Yes, oh my god, thank you.
Okay, now what is that noise?
Oh, that's my door alarm.
Yeah, but that only happens if the keys are in the ignition, hon.
Oh my god. You know what?
Your keys are actually in your ignition.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh my god, thank you so much, Blonde Star.
That's why we're here. Do you need anything else?
Blonde Star.
No, that's
always on, because you're always blonde.
Is always on because you're always blonde. Mike, one of our faithful listeners, actually sent me that, so I didn't have to go round it up myself. So Thank you, listeners, for participating in the show on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Hope we didn't offend any blondes. Never.
Yeah. If you need to call, no.
It's like that old. It's like that old joke. Guy locked his keys in the car, had to break a window to get out.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
There's a lot of those from back in the day.
Right.
I can go down the list.
Yes, you can.
Which we probably should not.
Yeah, we better get back. Is there any callers?
No. Come on, give us a call. Did you enjoy the Blonde Star tidbit or not? Did we offend you?
Yeah.
Hopefully not. 303-477-5600. And no, we love all colors of hair.
Yeah.
Blonde, brunette, redheads, black, gray, like Dennis and I.
Yeah. Do you have gray? I don't see it.
There's some there. There's quite a bit, actually. You know, what's interesting is when we started this program, we were neither one gray.
Right. I know that.
That's pretty bad.
It's pretty bad. Either that or we've been doing it for a long time.
We've been doing it way too long when we're now gray. Larry's got gray hair, too. Were you gray when we started this, Larry? No, I don't think so either. That's what happens when you're on radio too long. It just starts to progress and your hair changes color and all of a sudden...
You don't think it has anything to do with the kids getting a little bit older?
You think?
Yeah.
We had our grandkids over last night. Oh, man, I forgot what that was like.
Yeah.
I couldn't raise little kids again.
Yeah.
Every single day.
That's funny because we had our grandson over on Sunday. We picked him up Sunday, and then we had him over for Monday and Tuesday. Pam took off, and I got home Monday night, and I was just tired and stuff. And
you think?
Yeah. He wanted to play a game and stuff, so Jenny and I and our daughter Jenny and Pam and I and Cameron were all playing and stuff. And after he got done, he was like, okay, let's do this. And Jerry looks at me and she goes, how did you do this? I go, I wasn't as old as I am now.
Exactly.
That's why I had kids when I was younger. So
Exactly.
you gotta get on it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Man, that is a true statement. All right, 303-477-5600. Anything you want to talk about? Any questions, comments, problems? What do you need to do to get ready for winter? I've got a lot of articles. In fact, Larry's got me a book going here that I must have about 30 pages of things here to go over that I keep forgetting. But before I do that, Fiat, Chrysler, it's recalling 65,760 Ram trucks and 75,364 Jeep Cherokee Sport utility vehicles because of axle seals. That's on the Ram 1500 pickups. They found the axle shafts on some trucks may have not been properly heat treated and could thus overheat and trigger anti-lock brake system warning light failure. Then on the Cherokees, the Jeep Cherokees, there's an air conditioning line that might be having a problem. Let's just say that Larry handed me about, not just picking on FCA, GM has one here. I think he gave me one from Honda. Let's just say right now, there are a lot of recalls going on. A ton.
Yeah.
If you ever have a question about your vehicle being recalled, you can always take your vehicle identification number, call your dealer or stop by, have them run the number, find out if there's any outstanding recalls. In fact, some of you out there that are looking to buy a used car, it's always a great thing to do on a used car yourself. Don't rely on the dealer. Go get the vehicle identification number. Sometimes it's right online. You can call a local dealer and say, is there anything needed on this particular vehicle?
But you got to kind of be careful with that too, in one sense, because I remember being at the dealer, we got the recalls after the customer got the letter. Because the letter would go to the customer first before they would even notify the dealer.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So what I would recommend is that they call that 1-800 number in the book.
Find out there.
Or get a hold of one of our shops because we can look it up.
Check
too.
it out.
Because a lot of times they would look dumbfounded when you go in there.
Got it.
Yeah, because the customer got the letter first.
Got it. All right, makes sense. 303-477-5600 is our phone number. JR, you're back. What's going on?
Oh, hi. I forgot. I had a question. Now, I bought a battery tender plus.
Yes.
To maintenance. I have 2 motorcycle batteries I took out of my bikes. Can I charge them at the same time on that maintenance with parallel wires to them?
I suppose you could.
This way I don't have to switch on and off all way long. What do you think?
I suppose you could. I mean, I don't really see any real issues. If it was 2 car batteries, I would say no, but 2 motorcycle batteries, you probably couldn't get by with that.
Depends how many.
Are they a sealed type battery coming out of the motorcycle?
Yeah, they're both sealed. One's a gel and one's just a liquid.
Technically, you should probably do them individually because they're 2 different types of batteries.
Okay.
To make sure that they're getting the proper charge, staying up, they really need to be separate. If they were both identical batteries, I'd say your plan was probably fine. Given the fact they're 2 different types of batteries, I would probably do either 2 tenders or change them up every now and then.
Oh, so just like what, every couple of weeks? Just
swap them around.
battery?
Exactly.
They're sitting out in the shed.
You'd be okay doing that. Just move the wires over. You'd be okay.
Okay, now that's all I had. Okay.
Yeah, you'd be fine. So, one thing we've never talked about, or shouldn't say never, we rarely talk about on this show, the old wives' tale about leaving a battery on the concrete and it would drain it out. Remember those days?
Yeah.
That's not true.
No.
Not at all. 0.
Right.
So some of you old timers that think if you leave a battery, you got to put a battery on a block of wood or a crate or put a piece of cloth between it and the floor. No, not true.
Mm-hmm.
What we found was there is a correlation to a battery being less charged if it's on the concrete due to the cold that can sometimes come from the concrete sucking some of the warmth out of the battery itself. But it has nothing to do with the fact it's sitting on concrete.
Right.
Nothing. 0.
Right.
So that's an old wives' tale there. So those of you may be wondering about that. You no longer have to worry about, is the battery on concrete, is it on a block of wood, what have you. Now, if you want to put it on a block of wood, great, fine. You're not hurting anything, but you don't have to, is my point.
When you're speaking of batteries, that's a good thing to get checked right now. You can go in and any of the shops right now with the Color Select and check your battery to make sure if it's weak, is it going to start? Because you do not want to be replacing your battery or having to deal with that when a snowstorm happens.
No, that's the worst time.
Yeah.
And here's another thing. If the battery's getting close to the end of its life, just replace it anyways.
They're not that bad.
Even if it shows good, replace it. So if you got a 5-year battery and you're 4.5 years into it, replace it.
Yeah.
Just do it. You're getting close anyways.
Yeah.
Rob, you're next. What's going on, sir?
Hi, John, and everyone. It's good to talk to you.
Nice talking to you too, Rob.
I took you up on your suggestion about getting new tires while the time was to do that.
Awesome.
I had new Continental contacts mounted on the Saturn SW2. And then I don't know if you got my letter telling you what a nice job
I did, and it was a very, very nice letter from Geno's, and I got a nice comment back from Steve, so thank you very much for that.
And they took very good care of me, and I also gave them just because I wanted to show you that all Yelpers are not vermin, I left a very nice review.
You did a very nice job, Rob. I appreciate that.
Well,
believe me.
it's a thing. When a garage takes care of you, you should take care of the garage if you want that garage to do well and be around.
Thank you. Well, you know what, and Rob, your point is well taken. Even on every other business that's out there, because those small businesses thrive on good customer service, and when they do a good job, that's worth talking about also.
Well, this isn't a lose-win situation. If everybody works together, it's a win-win situation.
That's exactly right.
And the small businesses will take better care of you than the big boxes.
Exactly right.
And was I right about the Mitsubishi Mirage being about the most poopless car I've ever driven in my life?
You're pretty correct. Yeah.
I was trying to go up just that little hill on Orchard and Broadway, and the thing was just I'll get there. Just wait for me there.
Awesome.
Anyways, the new tires seem just a little slick. It's kind of weird. I was read on one of the online sites that tires are shipped in a coating, some sort of spray or something to keep them from aging prematurely. Is that true? You're supposed to. They said you should once you drive the coating off, the tire becomes more sticky. And I'm thinking, well, how long is that?
Not very long.
Okay, so it's nothing too much to be worried about.
No, I mean typically they'll scrub off. I mean even the little mold marks and such that are in the tire will be gone within a couple of 100 miles. So it doesn't take a long time for that to go away.
Oddly enough, I've put less than 100 miles on both sets of tires, so that's something I got to think about and maybe drive them a bit.
Yeah, I drive it a little bit just to get them scrubbed in, but you do that, they'll be fine.
Okay, that's exactly what I need to know. It's not something you think about. And
No, you really don't. Well, for most people that drive a lot, you put the tire on, and within a day or two, you're there anyways.
And I had a chance when I was at Geno's, and again, they couldn't have treated me better. This young lady was very worried about the cost of new tires, and I'm going to plug the tire rack as long as you guys don't have those.
No, I'm trying to get him as a sponsor, so plug away.
Yeah. The thing was that they had a big warehouse in North Stapleton. You go there, you order your tires online. There is no shipping charge. You do have to pay sales tax and the Colorado Tire Disposal fee.
Right.
But you can just pull right up to that warehouse, and they'll take your order number and your credit card, and then that's when they charge you. They don't even charge you if the tires are there.
Awesome.
And they load the tires into your vehicle, which, by the way, a little wagon is just perfect for that, although the Vanagon certainly could have held its own tires as well. And then just find someone like Geno's or other good dealers to mount and balance them.
Our guys would be more than happy to do that.
And it works out for everybody. The tire rack is very customer-friendly, and I'll tell you, you're there and you see all these tire dealership vans pulling up and buying, and you're thinking, why am I paying them to do what I'm doing myself?
Right. Great point. Well, and here's the other thing, and the reason why the guys inside the Colorado Select Group don't really care about this is none of them make much money selling tires anyways. So it's really, nobody's got space to stock them and all of that, so if a customer will just roll his own tires in, we don't care.
Just right. And they've also got reviews. You can read the customer reviews of the given tire, and you have the whole universe of tires in front of you, including some weird brands you never hear anything else about, but if you want to experiment on them, this is your chance. I love my local dealerships very much, but they'll tell me what they've got in the rack. They want to get rid of it.
That's exactly right. You're absolutely correct, Rob.
And when you're doing business with a high-volume tire dealer,
that's right.
You're not going to get an old tire. They're throwing them out, throwing them out, and throwing them out. And I looked at the brand new Defender LTXs that are on the Vanagon. They were made in May. Now that's a real comfort because I don't want to start that tire with a year's wear.
That's right. You're starting off with a really, really fresh tire. That's a great point.
And he also read my little note about the beautiful Michelin Agilis. Brands pulled them off the Vanagon. He says, but look at the tread on these. You're replacing them? I said, look at the label on the back.
Yeah.
10 years old.
Yep.
And when he took the tire off the rim and it hit the concrete floor, it slapped. It's clacking stuff. So that's an old Michelin.
That's an old tire.
Tires. I have no complaints about those at all.
They get old. That's right.
You're trying to convince me. Anyway, thank you so much.
You betcha, Rob. No, thank you very, very much. It was a great comment you had on Geno's. I appreciate that very, very much. Frank, hang tight. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. John Rush, Dennis Brewster, Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
That little check engine light could be telling you that something very bad is about to happen. Then again, it could be nothing. Find out for sure at Extreme Auto Repair in Parker. Most repair shops use a universal scanning tool to diagnose only just because of the rapid pace of Those tools are just not accurate. Extreme Auto Repair invested in the actual factory scan tools that the dealerships use, which are specific to the make of your car. Extreme owner Dennis Brewster knows that using the right tools to get a job done saves you, the customer, time and money. And it all begins with accurate diagnostics. It's just one more way that Extreme Auto Repair goes to the extreme for you. Extreme Auto Repair in Parker. Call 303-841-1071, 303-841-1071. Mention KOZ560 and save 20% off your repairs at Extreme Auto Repair. Extreme Auto Repair in Parker. They go to the extreme for you.
This is Red Merrill for Phoenix Weaponry. Phoenix Weaponry is a weapon manufacturer that services the firearm enthusiast. From precision ARs to suppressors, Phoenix Weaponry can make your dreams come true. Phoenix Weaponry is a full-service gun shop that offers gunsmithing, coating, and modifications to your own weapon. Phoenix Weaponry, family-owned and operated right here in Colorado. If you can dream it, Phoenix Weaponry can build it. Call today, 720-340-2496. Again, that's 720-340-2496. Or visit their website, phoenixweaponry.com. Mention Sportsman of Colorado and receive 10% off your custom-built weapon.
Ever try to buy an air filter and get lost in catalogs and vehicle descriptions? Well, K&N, the inventor of reusable cotton filters, has got the answer to the mess. Just visit knfilters.com and enter your vehicle identification number off your dashboard or car registration, and K&N will show you the filter that fits your car. It's never been easier to buy a K&N, the filter that helps your car run better.
Geno's with a J is your go-to auto service shop in Littleton for all your car care needs. Needing an oil change? Take advantage of Geno's premium $29.95 oil change and receive a free set of windshield wipers with the mention of this ad. See store for details. Brakes, alignments, or car maintenance. Geno's does it all. In business over 32 years, Geno's offers courtesy vehicles while your car is being serviced. They are conveniently located at Bowles and Platte Canyon in Littleton. Visit them online at genosautoservice.com. That's Geno's with a J.
At Napa Auto Parts, we've been the most trusted name in auto parts for over 80 years. Probably because we've never stopped looking for ways to make the great parts we sell even better. It's a commitment to quality you'll find in every one of our 310,000 parts. From the bacteria-killing surface on our cabin air filters, to the patented damping mechanism on our drive-align belt tensioners, to our revolutionary new Adaptive One brakes. And Napa parts are covered by a warranty that's good at any of our 6,000 Napa Auto Parts stores nationwide. Yeah, maybe you don't get this at your average auto parts store, but at Napa, we've spent the last 80 years making sure we were anything but average. To find the Napa Auto Parts store nearest you, go to NapaOnline.com. Napa, get the good stuff. With over 125 locations in Colorado, southern Wyoming, and western Nebraska, there's only one place to get the good stuff. Napa Auto Parts.
How stressful. You hear a noise, see a fluid leak, feel something funny, a little light comes on your dash, or your car totally breaks down, and you have no idea what it means, what to do, or how to fix it. With how much we depend on our cars to go about our daily lives, you'd think they'd teach us this stuff in school. Luckily for you, you have us. At Community Auto, we're serious about what we do, and we're darn good at it. Having served Fort Collins and Northern Colorado for over 20 years, our family-owned and operated AAA-approved shop has family that extends far beyond our garage doors. At Community Auto, we put the emphasis on care, not just auto repair. Ladies, ever felt intimidated going into an
20 seconds.
Scared you'll be taken advantage of? Our female staff is friendly, knowledgeable, and will thoroughly explain and educate you on what's going on with your car. You'll be in the know and in turn be taken care of. Because at Community Auto, we know that a happy car will get you far.
John Rush Drive Radio, KOZ560. Dennis Brewster from Extreme Automotive. This auto repair, I should say, is with us. Larry Younger on the other side of the glass, of course, taking all of your calls from Larry's Automotive, and Mindy, our great engineer today. We have one line open, 303-477-5600. Chris from OnStar also joined us, so we'll get to him right at the 11 o'clock hour. So please
stay tuned for that. He's going to explain a lot of things that happen on the used car side of the fence, if you would, and or some of you that maybe have bought a new car, had OnStar, let it lapse. What do you do next? We can talk about all of that at 11 o'clock. Frank, you're next. What's going on, sir?
Yeah, I got a 02 Chevy Suburban 4x4 1500, 5.3 liter engine. It's got a automatic transmission. I guess it's like the 46 EL or something like that. It's not the 80, I know that. But
it's
when
a
you drop the
4L60.
pan, when you drop the pan to change the fluid, and it drains out with a drain plug. But there's the only thing you can do is come straight down. But when you get there, where the cable mounting bracket is, it's right there underneath of the little ways, that round curve thing that the cable snaps in. It is in the way, and it's very hard to get up in there. It's on top, I get mounted there with two screwed in things, and I don't know what special tool or how.
You're talking about dropping the pan on the transmission?
Yeah, you can't. You got to drop it straight down because the transmission part of it just comes down straight into the pan, the full length of the pan, and you can't move it this way or that way, and you got to drop it down first quite a ways. You just got to drop it straight down. That's all you can do. You can't do, and what's in the way is the mounting bracket where it's got a round thing, and that cable snaps. And there's two little screws up there that hold the mounting, and it's so hard to get in. I mean, it's really a heck of a job, and I'm wondering what special tool I don't even know what, it's got a little round thing in the middle. It might be a hexagon, but I'm not sure even what it is. It's so hard to get in there with your hands. You probably have to have a small child's hands even.
I've never had any trouble dropping the pan on one of those transmissions. So for some reason, I'm not following it for some reason.
Yeah, nobody knows what it is. Somebody tried to say it was the tailpipe you got to loosen up. There's a dealer guy that's done them, I guess. But on this thing, it's kind of strange too, where I go to get the gas filter for it, and I get the dealer part number and everything. I give them my VIN number, and everything, and I ran through. But this thing doesn't have these two little white things that snap in. That there's the little white thing on one end of the stem nipple, and then you squeeze them together. This doesn't have that, and the tool, it takes that little tool that's round, and you slip it over, and you slip it in, and you release it. So I still can't figure out what gas filter. I guess maybe I have to take that little white thing off, and I'm scared to change my gas filter. But I better get it off and take it into some place to match it up maybe. And then how do you drain the engine radiator on those things? I don't see a drain plug on my radiator, and then the engine block, or where do you drain the...
No, the engine block will have plugs in it that you have to actually, if you're going to drain the block independently, you'd have to pull the plugs. Yeah. Same thing on the radiator. What you're best off on the radiator side of the fence is take that in, have somebody professionally flush the entire system out. A drain and a fill really isn't going to get all the contaminants inside of the block and the radiator and all the other components out. You really need to have that thing power flushed. And no offense, same thing on the transmission. Realistically, you could leave the pan and everything on it and have somebody do a complete, flush of the transmission, a fluid exchange, if you would. You're much, much, much better off doing that than trying to just drop the pan and put new fluid in.
But you don't need a new filter or something?
You really don't. The way the new chemicals and the way we do the flushing now, unless a transmission has gone a really, really, really long time without being serviced, you really don't need to.
Yeah, I got about 170,000 miles. I'm not sure if they ever drained it out and refilled it.
What's the stick? When you pull the stick out, what's it look like?
Well, it had the black stuff in there. It wasn't real bad black, because I've changed some where they were really a lot more black in there. And it wasn't any foul color. The lubricancy was real good. It was consistent to be it was still good. I did put some new fluid in there already.
I would just flush it if it were
Let
me.
them flush
What
it.
part of town are you in, Frank?
Yeah, they told me about that. They do that there. But how about on the emergency brake now? When I put on this 4-way disc, when I put on the new disc pads all the way around, I thought that would fix it. It's like light as a feather. Just go to the floor.
The emergency brake on that works off of the inside of the rear rotor itself, not the actual calipers that apply when you apply the brakes.
Well,
totally different system.
Yeah, and how would you get those to adjust up? Because it'll come on, it goes to the floor.
Well, first thing you'd have to check to make sure is that your shoes and everything on that are actually good. If that's not good, you can adjust it.
I replaced them; they're brand new.
You did the emergency brake shoes also?
Oh, you mean there's a different? I did the rear brake.
Yeah. Listen very closely. So when you do the rear brakes, the rotors themselves have a little mini drum on the inside of the rotor that the emergency brake shoes apply out onto to apply the emergency brake. The calipers themselves don't apply for the emergency brake. Okay. So if your emergency brake's not working, you need to check all of that prior to doing any kind of adjustments.
So it's like mini drums where the shoes are applying
out. Little bitty shoes on there that apply out onto the rotor.
Did you take off your rotors when you did your brakes?
No, they didn't need turning. They were
that's why you didn't see them.
Yeah, because when you take those off, you'll see them. They're sitting on the axle inside.
Right.
Oh, okay. And there's actually another set of
brake shoes
inside.
They're emergency lineage shoes. They're not very big.
They're not going to stop the vehicle. They're going to hold the vehicle.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
Where do you? And with that, guys, sorry, I apologize, Frank. We're running out of time. I got to run. We've got another hour coming up. Chris from OnStar is going to join us. Steve, hang tight. We will get your question first when we come back on. Don't go away. We have some lines open, and if you've got questions for Chris from OnStar, call us now, 303-477-5600. Hour 2 coming up next. Don't go away. John Rush, Dennis Brewster, Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
Still haven't had enough? Go to drive-radio.com. Email your questions and comments. Download previous programs and find lots of useful information, including your nearest Colorado Select Auto Care Center. That's drive-radio.com. Thanks for listening to Drive Radio, sponsored by the member shops of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers on KLZ 560.
Drive Radio is a presentation of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. The independently owned and operated shops of Colorado Select hold each other accountable for their highest standards of technical expertise, honesty, and professionalism. They all understand that choosing a mechanic is risky business, so Colorado Select was created by this exclusive group of like-minded professionals who are dedicated to raising the level of consumer confidence in Colorado's auto repair industry. Schedule your next oil change at any of the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers heard on Drive Radio, and you'll immediately see the difference. For the complete list of all the member shops in the state, visit drive-radio.com.
The big game hunting season is upon us, and archery season is in full swing. Hi, this is Scott Watley with Sportsman of Colorado. Join us Saturdays from 1 to 2 p.m. We'll bring you local outfitters, experts in archery, muzzleloading, and rifle hunting, and much more. Looking for a place to hunt pheasant and waterfowl? We've got you covered. Want to book a trophy deer or elk hunt with a reliable outfitter? We can help. If you like the outdoors, you'll love Sportsman of Colorado. Sportsman of Colorado, Saturdays at 1, right here on KLZ 560.
Hi, Dan Miller here. Did you see the movie Bella? It's a fantastic movie about life. Producer of Bella, Jason Jones, will be our guest. So join David Leach, the strident conservative, and me as we fill in for John Rush on the next Rush to Reason. Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. only on KLZ 560.
KLZ AM 560, KLZ HD Denver.
Listen live at KLZ560radio.com.
KLZ 560, a Crawford Broadcasting God and Country station.
Romanian government officials say 27 people are dead, 184 injured after a fire in a Bucharest nightclub last night. About 400 people were in the club for a rock concert that was featuring pyrotechnics, and several witnesses said they did see fireworks inside that nightclub. The U.S. Army saying work to retrieve that wayward military blimp from Maryland will continue this weekend, but Michael Greenberger at the University of Maryland Center for Homeland Security says he'd like to know how that blimp flew off in the first place.
How does something like that get away? I would like some answers.
The football field-sized surveillance blimp broke free of its moorings at Aberdeen Proving Ground on Wednesday and crash-landed over 150 miles away in rural Pennsylvania. Greenberger says it appears the military blimp is useless.
This is a completely expensive white elephant.
2 people are dead after a storm in central Texas that caused flooding and evacuations. Also, a couple of tornadoes reported in San Antonio yesterday.
Did you know the government is scheming to seize your retirement and bank accounts? Hi, David Fisher, CEO of Landmark Capital Gold Group. Get the facts in a white paper called How to Protect Your Retirement and Bank Accounts from Government Seizure. Transfer your 401k or IRA into physical gold and silver and take possession with no tax liability. Call Landmark Capital at 844-715-9411. That's 844-715-9411 or landmarkgold.com.
Trick or treat, folks. Colonel Sanders here. Can you tell what my costume is? I'll give you a hint. Boo! Come to KFC for a $20 family fill-up. A perfect Halloween meal for a family of 4 with 8 pieces of Kentucky Fried Chicken, 2 sides of taters, coleslaw, and 4 biscuits. Yep, that's right. I'm disguised as a singer. Pretty good costume, isn't it? KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Available for a limited time only. Pricing and participation may vary.
KLZ.
John Rush during the afternoon rush, weekdays from 3 to 6 on KLZ 560.
Being an expert on general automotive knowledge, what would the correct ignition timing be on a 1955 Bel Air Chevrolet with a 327 cubic inch engine and a full barrel carburetor?
It is a trick question.
Watch this.
The Chevy didn't make a 327 in 55. The 327 didn't come out till 62. And it wasn't offered in the Bel Air with a 4-barrel carb till 64. However, in 1964, the correct ignition timing will be 4 degrees before Top Dead Center.
Get ready for another hour of Drive Radio, brought to you by Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. Got a question for the experts? Then give them a call, 303-477-5600. Now it's time to pop the hood and get our hands dirty. Drive Radio on KLZ 560 The Source.
And it is an absolutely beautiful Colorado day. If it is Sunday and you're tuning into us, we did the show on Saturday, so you missed it. No, really, you'll be able to hear all of it in its entirety.
You just can't call in.
You just can't call in. But you can always email John at drive-radio.com or go to our new updated website, drive-radio.com. Check it out. Email us there. It works out really, really well. If you missed the first hour, that's always podcasted. I will not have it up this weekend until probably a little later in the day on Sunday. We'll just see how things go and how quickly I can get that up this particular weekend with me going out of town right after the show, but I'll get it up as soon as I can. But if it is Sunday, thank you so much for joining us. We really, really do appreciate you listening on a Sunday, and I know we have a lot of Sunday listeners. But it is Saturday. We've got calls coming in, 303-477-5600. I'm your host, John Rush. Dennis Brewster from Extreme Automotive out in Parker is with us.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate you being here. Taking time out of your beautiful Saturday to actually come in.
I'm thinking, what can I be doing at home? But I don't want to think about it.
It's really gorgeous out. And Chris West is also with us from OnStar, the dealer advocate for OnStar. We'll talk to him in just one moment. Steve, though, has been holding. Steve, welcome. What's going on, sir?
Hey, how you doing today?
Doing great. Thanks for calling, Steve.
Good. Yeah, I talked to you guys last year, as a matter of fact, about differences between the 6.0, 6.4, and 7.3 engines, and I ended up finding a good 7.3.
Okay, good for you.
2002. Just got the oil changed, and the guy was telling me I needed to have the transmission and everything else changed too. How often do you do that?
Do you know when it was done last, by chance?
No, they didn't have any records when I bought the thing.
Then to start from scratch to know where you're at from this point forward, I would go ahead and do them.
Okay, and then so it's both pumpkins, the transfer case, and the transmission.
Yep, and then on that vehicle, you're going to want to do. Are you towing with it?
Not yet. I probably will be starting next year.
Once you start towing with it, you want to change the transmission fluid annually, and the differentials at about 30 to 40,000 miles, something like that would be fine.
Alrighty.
But in that particular transmission, that's the weak link in that truck. The engine frankly had way more power than what the transmission knew what to do with or could handle, I should say. It's the weak link, so you really want to change it on an annual basis. And if you can, now how much weight are you going to be towing?
Probably 11 to 13,000.
Okay. If you can, I should say if. What I would do also to help the transmission out is put a really good heavy-duty external cooler, in addition to the cooler that's in the radiator, put a really good heavy-duty cooler on the transmission also.
Okay.
Okay, keep the heat down in it is what we're trying to do.
Right. Okay, and then I have one other question, if I could.
Sure.
Does it pay to redo the intake and exhaust systems with a new, like a Banks and with a...
You don't spend them. Nothing against Banks, love them. They have great stuff, but don't spend the money for their stuff. You're spending a lot of money for a name. Their stuff is a good product, but you can do it cheaper than that. You can buy the Can-Am cold air intake, get the same type of performance out of the cold air side of the fence as you would Banks, and you can buy anybody's. I would, on that particular vehicle, run the 5-inch exhaust. Anybody's 5-inch from AFE to you name it. Whoever's got a good 5-inch exhaust for it. There's many brands out there. Just make sure it's a good, solid mandrel bent. You at least want the aluminized tubing, but stainless, if you can find it, works way better.
Alrighty. Does I noticed one of them offered? I guess they call them exhaust brakes. Are they good to have on there?
Yes, they are very much so on that truck. And now, the one thing about that you have to be careful of is when you do the exhaust brake, you also need to do some work on the transmission, because if you do the exhaust brake without actually beefing up the lower end of the transmission itself, you'll burn the lower end of the transmission out with the exhaust brake, believe it or not. So you want to do that in a combination, and you need somebody that understands that 7.3 and the transmission that you've got behind it and can do that in conjunction with one another. I've got some guys in Colorado Select Group that can do that, but frankly, not every Colorado Select member will know what I'm talking about when I just said that.
Okay.
So when you get to that point, email me. I'll give you some specifics on who you can go see to get that done.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome, Steve. I appreciate it very much. And Chris West from OnStar, welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me in.
Well, appreciate you coming on. Brian Geist from Centennial Leasing was good enough to get you and I together earlier this week, and we actually had a caller last weekend that said, hey, one of the things you guys have never done that would really be nice is, can you get somebody from GM on the OnStar side of the fence to talk about OnStar, how it works, what happens when you buy a used car, all those different things. So this is perfect timing.
Yep, I'm your guy.
So thanks for joining us. All right, so first of all, let's start. For all the people out there that maybe don't even know what OnStar is, what is OnStar?
Well, OnStar gives you the ability to have a little more control with your car. It gives you the ability to reach out via an app on your phone to remote start your vehicle, to unlock the doors if you lock your keys in it, but there's also all of its emergency services. If you get in an accident, someone will come along and make sure you're okay. You get a flat tire, ask for help, and they'll send someone on the way. So it's a helpful service that just ties you into your vehicle.
Okay, and how reliable is that communication side of the fence on OnStar? Is it cell phone driven, satellite driven? How does that work?
Well, a little bit of both. Primarily, though, we're going off of cell towers, but you have a much bigger antenna than your tiny little smartphone. You got the whole roof of the car. So you're going to get a far better signal being anywhere else in the U.S. than you will off your cell phone. Just because you don't have a signal on your cell doesn't mean the car won't be connected.
Got it. So accident happens. Automatically, there's a signal that's sent out saying, hey, this car's been in an accident. Now, question we had on that last week, does that happen with any vehicle, period, or do you have to be a subscriber to have that service?
You have to have an active OnStar subscription in order to use those services.
So if you've let that run out and you have some sort of a major catastrophe, you're on your own.
Unfortunately.
So you've got all that equipment there, but didn't use it.
Yep, exactly.
It'd be like having a doctor in the back seat you never ask a question for when you're in that accident. Kind of like that, right?
Well, and OnStar always has doctors on hand. There's always one there to help out in an emergency.
Okay, so let's back up a little bit. When you buy a new car, is it something that comes standard, or do you have to specify it on that particular car?
So it's going to be coming on most models. Now, it's not going to be on every model. It's kind of trim dependent.
GM, by the way.
GM models, yes. Okay. So new models today, we're talking GMC, Cadillac, Chevrolet, and Buick. Those are the four that are still produced, so those are the ones, but it's trim dependent. And really the best way to tell, look at the mirror. Does it have the OnStar button on it? Or sometimes on these newer models, there's a button up right above on the headliner that's going to be the OnStar button. You just got to look.
You're talking about the rear view mirror.
The rear view mirror, yes. The rear view mirror has the OnStar button.
Yep.
And of course, it would tell you typically on a window sticker or an order form or something along those lines.
And at a new car dealership, they're pretty well vested in this. They know what they're talking about. They'll tell you if it's equipped or not.
So you buy a new car, you're getting probably a certain amount of service for free when you get the vehicle.
You get 6 months for everything. Cadillac, you get a year.
Okay, so then you decide at that point, do I want to keep it? Do I want a trimmed down version of it? Because you offer several different packages, not just a... you've got a menu of services, I guess I'm trying to say, right?
Absolutely. So you get your trial, you get the full suite of everything you get from there. And then you get to pick with your advisor which ones you want to keep. If you want to keep navigation, if you want to keep stolen car assistance, or if you just want
so time out. Navigation. So if your car doesn't have nav, but you have OnStar, you still have navigation?
You still get navigation. Now, not all cars have the in-dash nav, but all cars have a speaker in them. We can always tell you directions, turn-by-turn navigation. And also on the dashboard, you get arrows pointing
I forgot about that.
left, right. Which way do you want to go? So just because your car doesn't have the tech, meaning the navigation system in there, you can still work. You're still going to get directions.
Okay, so walk us through that. So car doesn't have, so my truck, for example, my 2012 Chevy sitting down the lot, you probably saw it on the way in, and I've probably let my OnStar, run out because I'm a fleet guy and I drive that truck. I mean, that truck's a 2012 and I've got just turned 25,000 miles. So I don't drive it a ton. It's my plow truck and so on, but it's run out. So if I re-upped in the fact that it does not have nav and it's just a regular LT truck with a standard head, unit in it, no nav, no nothing. It's not a fancy truck by any means. What you're telling me is if I re-upped for OnStar and I got the nav portion of that particular service, I would still have turn-by-turn directions, even though my truck does not have a navigation unit in it.
Absolutely. So you'll for sure get the voice that's going to come over telling you left and right.
They'll say, okay, idiot, turn left. Okay.
There you go. It has all that. But also dependent, it'll either show up on your odometer with the directional arrows or it'll be on your radio stack. Just kind of depends on the car.
Really?
Yep.
So this is news to me.
I know.
I know a lot about
That's my job.
OnStar,
Is to go around to dealerships, specifically used car dealerships, let them know about these cool features.
Very cool. Okay, so in my case, if I want to re-up, what do? Hit the blue button?
Hit the blue button. That's all you've got to do. Sometimes it takes a second button press, but when you call in, if you've never, ever used OnStar as that particular owner, you can say, hey, I'm a new owner of this car. I want my 3-month trial. So every new owner of the vehicle, regardless of how many owners it has had, gets a 3-month trial.
I did not know that. So if you so everybody out there listening, if you just bought a new used GM vehicle that has OnStar on it and you have not activated your free 3-month trial, you can do that right now.
Absolutely. Doesn't matter. 24 hours a day. And you're going to speak to someone who speaks English too. So it's not going to go to Singapore. You're going to talk to somebody
that would be nice.
in Michigan. You're going to talk to somebody who will actually understand you.
Okay. So that's interesting. Okay. So what if I want to know, in my case, I sign up, I get the nav, and I want to find, I'm in a new city and I don't know where to eat. Can I ask for a favorite restaurant and will it direct me there? Or is that a different package?
Absolutely. You press that and you're going to find out, where can I go to eat? I need to find something there. In fact, we just launched an update for our app that has various coupons and deals that are attached. So if you want to go somewhere, your advisor will say, hey, yeah, and actually you're looking for just a coffee shop, here's a Nugget Donuts coupon. We can send to your phone, give you directions on your car. It'll tell you how to go there and you can get a 2-for-1. Go to Best Buy, get your discounts there. Your advisors are going to be basically your concierge.
That's awesome. Okay, we got to take a real quick break. Eric, I know you've got some questions. You're the one last week that called in and wanted us to have Chris on. Hang tight. We'll get Eric and Chris together. I'm sure some of the rest of you have some questions on OnStar. If you do, lines are open 303-477-5600. We'll be right back. Don't go away. John Rush Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
At Napa, we're always trying to make the great parts we sell even better. From the bacteria-killing surface on our cabin air filters to our revolutionary new Adaptive One brakes. And every Napa part is covered by a warranty good at any of our 6,000 Napa Auto Parts stores. Yeah, maybe you don't get this at your average auto parts store, but we've spent the last 80 years making sure we were anything but average. Go to NapaOnline.com for a location nearest you. Napa, get the good stuff.
Life has consequences, and a consequence of a poorly maintained fleet of work vehicles is the unfortunate timing of a breakdown. Your customers are counting on you, and one breakdown could be a deal breaker for the customer your driver was trying to reach. Maybe that customer has clients of his own who are demanding an explanation, and so on. How long do you expect to be in business when your customers think you are unreliable? Your solution? Tilden Total Car Care. Using state-of-the-art software to monitor each vehicle in your fleet, Tilden can actually anticipate maintenance items before they become major repairs or ultimately breakdowns. Protect your profits, minimize downtime, and sleep better. Call Tilden Total Car Care today and ask about their fleet maintenance program. Call 303-797-7977. 303-797-7977. Tilden Total Car Care, helping as many people as they can, as fast as they can. Federal in Bellevue and Inglewood, and 6th and Peoria in Aurora.
Today's cars and trucks are very complicated and can be expensive to repair. At Arvada West Auto and Truck, we can help you to understand the complex nature of repairs. We specialize in computer repairs. Maybe you've tried another shop and you still have the same problem. Let our highly experienced technicians at Arvada West Auto help you. Call 303-422-1065 or stop by and see us at Arvada West Auto and Truck, 11752 West 64th Avenue in West Arvada, or visit us on the web at arvadawestautoandtruck.com. 303-422-1065.
I want my mileage back.
Here's some inside information to get your gas mileage back. Inside your engine, carbon builds up, clogging the injectors and combustion area. If you want your fuel system cleaned in just one tank of fuel, use what the inside car guys use most. It's called BG44K. In fact, service managers use it almost 3-to-1 over any other fuel system cleaner. To find a shop with BG products, go to bgfindashop.com. That's bgfindashop.com.
BG. Have you ever been ripped off by an auto shop? Chances are you have at least felt like you were, and as a technician myself, I get it. So how do you know who to trust? The answer is to always choose a Colorado Select Auto Care Center. Colorado Select is a hand-picked group of independent shops who all adhere to the highest standards of customer service. They use ASE-certified master technicians who all offer at least a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on repairs, far exceeding most dealerships. Find a shop nearest you at coloradoselect.com. In Arvada and Westminster, trust your car to Larry's Automotive and Transmission, the Drive
10 seconds.
Pros. They're one of the few ASE-certified repair shops that's also an ATRA-certified transmission facility. Call 303-427-2108. The thriller for Halloween. Or just the thrill you need on Halloween is what I should say. Drive Radio, KLZ 560, John Rush, Dennis Brewster, and Chris West from OnStar. Eric is joining us on the phone right now. Eric, welcome. What's going on, sir?
Hey, like John said, I'm the one who kind of started this conversation last week because I had some questions about it. My wife had a 2013 Buick Verano. Almost a year ago, she was in a fairly substantial accident. It was about almost $8,000 damage done to the car. It was still drivable, but number one, it never set the airbags, and OnStar was never alerted. How do those two work in conjunction?
Great question. Yeah, typically the emergency services is only going to come online when you have an airbag deployment. Not always the case. Sometimes there's accelerometers in the car, in the mirror. It kind of depends on the vehicle. I couldn't tell you which models have that or not, but typically it's an airbag deployment that triggers the system.
Okay, yeah, because this was an offset. This was like a 45-degree angle to a guardrail, and yeah, and it was, like I say, it was pretty substantial. The other thing that I've noticed with it is the communication between the car and the app is incredibly slow sometimes, if not all of the time, and not always right.
Well, yeah, what I found with that is it's depending a lot on the signal that you're getting, because we use cell phone towers to be able to connect the cars to the network. Typically, when I'm pressing unlock on my phone at my home to unlock the car, it happens in less than 3 minutes. The same thing if I want a remote start. It just varies depending on the location and the kind of signal that's getting to the car. I mean, we're rerouting through 5 different towers and satellites and so forth around the world before it finally gets to your car. So there always is some lag. But what I've told a lot of people, it depends on the signal and the variation of where you're at and the signal strength.
Got it. Okay.
So where are you at typically when you're doing that, Eric? I mean, is that locally around the metro area? Are you out of town? When you?
Well, it's like sometimes she'll be in town and I might be out of town and I'll check something on it. One day she had, and I know you're supposed to be able to do it, but she accidentally locked her keys in the car.
Got it.
And she couldn't figure out how to work the app on her phone, even though I've showed her 4 or 5 times. And so she had to call me, and then I had to do it for my phone. And I think the day it happened, I think I was in Grand Junction, and she was here in town. And it took a good 7 or 8 minutes before the unlock went through.
Well, that's still faster than a locksmith.
Well, yeah, exactly. and definitely cheaper.
No, you're right about that. Well, and I have experienced in the past similar things, Eric, and I will say, I mean, not to say this because Chris is sitting here, but yeah, it is very much dependent upon where you're at with your network, where the other vehicle, where the vehicle is at, and the network that it's in. What's the signal strength, all of that. And I'm guessing I may be wrong in this, and Chris can correct me, but I'm guessing even the traffic on the tower that you're actually at on one end or the other could have an effect on it.
I would say the same thing. I mean, it's the same thing with internet speeds. You're paying for 100 megs, but you're only getting 50.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that was kind of, you guys kind of answered my other questions in terms of how it alerts and whatnot. Because what precipitated the call actually was that accident, that lady that up in on 285,
right?
And when they were talking about that was kind of what had precipitated the.
No, that was a great question, and this worked out great. We should have had Chris on. In fact, we'll get Chris on a regular basis. Should have had him on years ago. I don't know why we didn't. It was really dumb on our part. So I appreciate it, Eric. No, that's great. I'm glad we're doing it. So, question we had during the break is, and we got the question, but the listeners didn't. At one time, you guys were offering OnStar to other vehicles outside of the GM family, correct?
Correct.
You no longer are doing that.
No longer do not. I mean, there was a partnership about 10 years ago where we're putting it on other cars. You'd find it on Saabs, you'd find it on Acuras and so forth. That was something GM tried for a little bit and wasn't there anymore.
Okay.
Then they launched an aftermarket program where we could install a OnStar mirror in a Honda Civic, in a Subaru Legacy, other vehicles that typically did not have that.
Or even a GM vehicle that didn't come with it.
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
You could do all sorts of things. Unfortunately, though, that program isn't around anymore. It wasn't as hot as GM thought it would be. I tried it for a little bit here with my job, and it was hard to get dealers to commit to doing those things because they would have to install it themselves and upfront that cost, and then either pass it off or give it to them for free. So it was a real tough one to really balance.
And one of the things in your job that you do, which we'll make sure we don't forget we want to mention, is you actually work on the used car side of the fence more so than the new car, correct?
Correct. My job is to go to non-GM dealers.
Okay.
So I go to new car stores like a Honda, or I just go to any other store out there that sells vehicles. Just anyone that doesn't have a GM emblem on the front, I'm visiting.
Got it. So you're going to big used car lots, small used car lots, you name it. So here's a question. Are you looking for people that will actually not necessarily sign up, but just learn more about how OnStar works so they can send their customer off more educated?
Absolutely. My job is two parts. My first one is to educate. I go around to these dealerships not trying to sell anything because you already own the product. It's so you can sell the vehicle to your customer by letting them know that it has increased safety features, that it comes with an app to be able to remote start your car, that it has navigation built in the vehicle. All of these things are hot button issues with our customers. The more you're educated as a salesperson, the more likely you are to sell that vehicle.
And the other thing, and this, I look at this several different ways. If you're a used car lot and you're not using some of this, shame on you, because you could actually be advertising a particular car saying, yeah, this particular 2013 Chevy Impala, it's, got a special price today of XXX, and by the way, it comes with 3 months free OnStar.
Yeah.
That would be a correct statement to say, right?
Absolutely.
You know what, though? Rarely do I ever see an ad that says that.
Yeah, me either. And that's what I've been telling my dealers for a long time, too.
I never see that.
Yeah, well, and why not list out all these features? Let them know that you're getting navigation and that you have emergency roadside that comes along with it.
Correct. You should actually be mentioning that in your ads. And on top of that, certain cars, now this is very car dependent, even more so. Just because it has OnStar doesn't mean it has this. That's the LTE, the Wi-Fi signal that some cars have built in. Some of the GM cars now, and that's been going on for 3 to 4 years now, roughly?
Right, yeah. So you get various signals on that. And speaking of LTE, say on that, on our 2015 models, we launched Wi-Fi hotspots. So you're going to have a Wi-Fi hotspot in your vehicle connected to OnStar. So connect your tablets, connect your laptops, whether you're working in the field or you got kids in the back seat who want to watch Netflix.
You just buy part of that on your data, and off
it's
you go.
It's an additional data plan that goes through AT&T. So if you got an AT&T plan, add a line, call it your car.
And off you go.
There you go.
Got it. Question?
Oh, yeah, I did have. You can't, like, if we have, because I sell some used cars. I don't know if you're aware of that. But some of the cars I'd like to see if they have the OnStar, so I know how to check for that. But if they don't, you can't add the mirror to it and do it.
Unfortunately, not anymore. No, it's got to be OnStar equipped. Pretty easy to tell. You look at the rearview mirror, make sure it has the buttons on it. But if it doesn't have it, you're kind of stuck.
So if it does, then you should be advertising.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
There you go.
And by the way,
GM cars that I might be able to do that with.
Those of you that are listening, and this is even for Dennis, it's real easy. OnStar.com.
Right.
That's where you go to find out more about OnStar. It's pretty simple.
Yep, absolutely. And any of your dealers who are looking to get on and to learn more information, have me drop by, shoot me an email, christopher.west@onstar.com. Be glad to help you out.
In fact, Chris, I've got his email. What I will do is in our tips and tricks section of the new website, this is one of those things where I can easily throw his information up, or if you've got more questions, anything along those lines that you'd want to ask, we can actually get you, fixed up on that. One other thing too that we need to mention, Chris, that I don't think people realize also that have OnStar, and it's something even I personally forget. You can actually get a cell phone plan on that particular car. So if something were to happen and you forgot your phone, I realize most everybody out there listening has a cell phone of some kind, but
let's say yours gets dropped, it gets in the water, you forget it, you left it at the restaurant, you can actually have your car still work separate of your cell phone, still be able to make a call and maybe even call the restaurant and say, hey, did I leave my cell phone there? You can do that, correct?
Absolutely. You treat it just like an a la carte feature. I brought up the Wi-Fi. That's an extra thing you get add on. You can do the same thing with hands-free calling. So basically give your phone or your car its own phone.
Got it.
Has it all in there. And you call the OnStar and say, hey, I think I left my phone at the restaurant. What's their phone number? Can you connect me? And they connect you right through.
And you've got plans starting as little as $19.99 a month.
Yep.
Right?
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
Your trial, you get everything for free, but it goes all the way up after that to $35, depending on what features you want to have.
All right, we're going to have Chris hang out with us a little bit. If you've got some questions for him from GM at OnStar, 303-477-5600 is our number. Hang tight. Larry's got some calls coming in as we speak. We'll be right back. Don't go away. John Rush Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
Today's cars and trucks are very complicated and can be expensive to repair. At Arvada West Auto and Truck, we can help you to understand the complex nature of repairs. We specialize in computer repairs. Maybe you've tried another shop and you still have the same problem. Let our highly experienced technicians at Arvada West Auto help you. Call 303-422-1065 or stop by and see us at Arvada West Auto and Truck, 11752 West 64th Avenue in West Arvada, or visit us on the web at arvadawestautoandtruck.com. 303-422-1065.
Geno's with a J is your go-to auto service shop in Littleton for all your car care needs. Needing an oil change? Take advantage of Geno's premium $29.95 oil change and receive a free set of windshield wipers with the mention of this ad. See store for details. Brakes, alignments, or car maintenance. Geno's does it all. In business over 32 years, Geno's offers courtesy vehicles while your car is being serviced. They are conveniently located at Bowles and Platte Canyon in Littleton. Visit them online at genosautoservice.com. That's Geno's with a J.
This is Isaac Bouchard from Bespoke Autos. The word bespoke means custom tailored, and that's what we do when you're shopping for a car, truck, or SUV. We custom tailor to your needs, whether you're buying new or used, lease or purchase. We also make sure you get the most for any trade-in and can assist with financing. I've been helping people like you find the perfect car for your needs and budget since 1991, and my team at Bespoke Autos will make sure we continue to deliver on this. Find out more at denverautobrokers.org. That's denverautobrokers.org.
We've all been there. You're under the hood and suddenly realize you don't have the parts you need. Or even worse, you don't know what parts you need. Well, at Napa Auto Parts, we have ASE certified parts specialists that'll make sure you find that right part. One covered by a warranty good at any one of 6,000 Napa locations. Yeah, finding the right part might not be easy, but fortunately, finding the right parts store is. Go to NapaOnline.com for the location nearest you. Napa, get the good stuff.
John Rush here. I want to talk to you again about your pets. And pets are very much a part of our family. It's one of the things that we talk about a lot amongst ourselves. There's very few pet owners I've ever met where the person hates the pet. Because typically, if that's the case, you don't own one. If you own a pet, they're a part of the family, right? It doesn't really matter whether it's large animal, small animal, cats, dogs, birds, you name it. They're a part of the family, right, guys?
Oh, absolutely. Tucker, our little Shih Tzu, he's with us everywhere.
Okay, so in your case, Dan, that's a dog. I mean, I've got a yellow lab. Doesn't require a lot of grooming. I mean, you can wash him and do those sorts of things, but yours actually needs some grooming from time to time, correct?
Oh, yes, and the Shih Tzu has to have the proper Shih Tzu cut.
Okay, guess what? Lone Tree Veterinary Medical Center will do just that. They've got a full grooming department. Actually, I've been in the center, and the cool part about this is a 2-level veterinarian clinic. So you walk in on the main level, you can drop off your little Fido, whatever your animal's name is. And the cool thing about it too, this is something just as a side note. Most of the time when you walk in and you're trying to fill out paperwork, typically you've got a leash and it's on your arm and you're trying to fight the dog or whatever you have with as far as a pet goes. You're doing all that while you're filling out the paperwork, right, guys?
Yeah.
Okay, guess what these guys thought of? There's little hooks on the wall. So when you walk into the counter and you actually start filling out all the paperwork, you can actually put the leash on the hook and you're set and you can actually stop and fill out paperwork. Amazing.
That's actually thinking of the customer first.
Thank you. That's exactly what they do at Lone Tree Veterinary Medical Center. The phone number 303-708-8050. Dr. Bill and Nancy Moyle are the owners there. They're great long-term supporters of Drive Radio, and I would encourage you, please support them. Take your pets there. You will not find a better experience at 8681 East Lincoln Avenue in Lone Tree. The web address, LoneTreeVet.com.
Every car has a transmission, and every transmission needs servicing, but most drivers ignore their transmission. Don't fix what ain't broke, as they say. Larry's Automotive is the area's most respected transmission and driveline repair facility, and they'll tell you that most of the expensive repairs they do could easily have been avoided with regular scheduled maintenance. Maybe they were told by a mechanic that their transmission fluid was getting dark, or maybe there was a slight hesitation between gears. Whatever the case, they are now faced with expensive repairs. Larry's technicians are ATRA and ASE certified, and their warranty covers you even if you're out of town. And while there's nobody better for transmission repair than Larry's Automotive, the truth is,
15 seconds, guys.
preventive maintenance instead. Larry's Automotive and Transmission Repair. The Driveline Pros on Bradburn Boulevard in Westminster. Call 303-427-2108. 303-427-2108.
All right, John Rush, Rush to Reason, KLZ 560. Check out our new website, by the way, drive-radio.com, which I'm getting some messages from as we speak. So you must be able to get there and send a little email because I'm getting them.
Yeah, it's a little scary.
So real quick, Bill just asked via email, needs an 8-passenger vehicle to rent. Looking to rent a vehicle for a 500-mile round trip. What do we recommend? 8-passenger vehicle to rent. I'm gonna think about that one for a second because 8, you've got to do Suburban.
Well, I have some background from Enterprise. Used to work there, so I used to rent out those things at Enterprise. Okay. You can get Suburbans, you can get Tahoes, and then
Tahoe's 8.
Tahoes have 8.
If you do
no trunk.
No, okay, that's right.
They have
that's right.
8.
The thing is
that's right because they got 3, 3, and 2.
So that's the best. You get some Expeditions that are like that, and some minivans like the Toyota Sienna. But primarily, you want an 8-passenger. You go to Enterprise, they're going to book you a Suburban. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, that's
a Suburban with a bench seat in the middle, not captain's chairs.
Because no, if you had a bench seats, in the middle, correct.
In the middle,
yes,
got a bench seat.
Some of them you have bench seats on the front, and you get 9-seater.
Correct.
Suburbans.
That's
but
exactly
those are
right.
rare. Those
you don't find those very often. So, Bill, if I were you, again, great place to go tonight, and I would agree with Chris on this. Enterprise, we send a lot of people there, so should get them as an advertiser someday, actually, because we send a lot of people there. But Enterprise would be a great place to go, especially for renting in town. Not to say that, Hertz and Budget and all the rest of them aren't great people, but Enterprise has locations all over town. You don't have to drive all the way to DIA to rent a car. Yep. Right. I know up in my neck of the woods, there's a place right in Broomfield, for example. There's one in Boulder. I mean, they've got offices all over the place. So that's the plus side to them. I would go in, get a Suburban, and off you go. All right, we got some phone calls coming in on OnStar. Let's talk to Bill, who's next. Bill, welcome, sir.
Yeah, good show, guys. Hey, I have 2 older GM vehicles, an Envoy and a Buick Century, but they're the old OnStar system, and what I understand, they can't update them. First of all, I want to know what year did they change to the newer OnStar, and second of all, is there ever going to be any software to patch the old OnStar systems if I want to reactivate it?
That's a great question, and I neglected to bring it up. It's a good point. 2006 and newer are the only ones that are currently supported. The reason for that is the government decided to say to all the cell companies, you don't have to support analog signals anymore as of 2006. So OnStar went, great, we don't have to support 2 signals, we're going to drop out analog. So it's only digital, which is all that you get, 2006 and newer. Now your second question, how do you update those things? No patch. You have to replace the hardware. You can go to any GM dealership and say, hey, I want to upgrade to the new GM or the new OnStar system. You can do that with a 1-year subscription of OnStar. They'll pay for the parts. They'll pay for the labor. All you got to do is pay for a 1-year subscription of OnStar and you get your new updated system.
Really?
So say that again about the cost.
It's a 1-year subscription that you have to purchase through the dealership when you get it updated.
And all of the software, hardware installation is free if you sign up for a year of OnStar.
Really?
I did not know that.
Because I've been wanting to do that, but I didn't want to buy a new car.
Well, Bill, we just solved your problem.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome, Bill. And by the way, I forgot about that. That was a question we've had in the past. I was not aware you could do that, and they would cover all the costs for a year's subscription.
Yep, OnStar will cover it all. You just got to go in there and pay a year. I don't recall what the cost is for a year subscription. I know it's discounted from the monthly rate.
It is. Actually, I have it right here.
You have it?
Okay.
Okay.
So, Bill, if you're listening, you can do a year's worth of service. Their basic service is $200 for a year.
There you go.
$250 for the security, And if you want the guidance system, which is the navigation and all of that, it's $350 a year or $35 a month. But you have to buy the yearly.
Right, which is still cheaper than month to month.
Exactly. So either $350, $250, or $200 bill would get you your car updated to all the new digital technology, and away you go. Now, can any dealer do that? So if you've got a Cadillac, can you go to the Chevy dealer to have it updated, or do you need to go to Cadillac?
I would assume so, because the OnStar is universal across all 4 brands.
Okay, makes sense. Bernard, you're next, sir.
Yes, hi, thank you. Yes, I have a 2008 Pontiac Solus, and I'm curious, I don't have the service right now, but does OnStar go where that car is all the time?
It does not. You've got to press that button to initiate the link. As soon as your subscription ends, they cut it off. We have so many cars that are active subscribers, they can only keep track basically of so many vehicles, and they want to do that with subscribers. So I hear that concerns, I don't want to buy a car because they're going to be able to track me wherever I go. Well, first off, what are you doing? You're worried they're being tracking you. And second off, it can only work if you have an active subscription. So I wouldn't worry about it too much until you've actually pressed that button.
Right. Okay. The other thing is that car, they've had a recall about it running the battery down. Is that just when the service is active, or is that a problem otherwise?
I haven't heard anything like that particularly. You can stop in at any GM dealer and ask them about that, and they'll be able to give you a more detailed answer in the service department.
So they're saying on your what do you have again? A 2008
Pontiac
Solstice.
Some
of the 2-seater.
Yeah, and they're saying that the OnStar is running the battery down. Is that what they're saying?
Yes.
And I don't know how it would be, because OnStar is not on when the key's off, so that would not make sense to me at all.
No.
Well, it's one of the recall things, along with ignition.
Right. Well, and if it's a recall, then they'll fix that for free and off you go. But and it could be a recall. If it is, then that's that's on them. They'll take care of it.
I can't see how that would happen though, because OnStar wouldn't bring that much amperage through.
No.
They can't even be doing 2 millivolts.
Do you have Bernard? Do you have OnStar on yours?
Yes.
Okay. And have you? Did you check with your? There's no Pontiac dealers anymore, but have you checked with a GM dealer to see if your car actually has a recall on it?
Well, I haven't taken it in yet. I've only had the car a couple months.
You can call. You don't even have to take it in. Just get your VIN number and call a local dealer and say, "Can you run this VIN number to see if there's any recalls?"
Or you can call customer assistance in your book, and they'll do the same thing.
Exactly. Either one will do that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you don't have to drive it in.
Yeah, for the mechanics, I got another question. This car has this 2-liter turbocharged engine.
Okay.
And it's got like 360 horsepower and 360 foot-pounds of torque.
It's a fun little car.
Yes. They had a factory option in 2009 that you could boost the horsepower another 40 horsepower. Would you recommend that, or do you think that would be over-chilling the engine?
I don't know enough about that car and what they did in 09 versus 08 to get that extra horsepower, so frankly...
It was a chip that you bought. It was an aftermarket thing the dealer had.
If that's all it is, at our elevation, you're not going to hurt anything, I don't think, doing it. Now, is it an actual true GM upgrade, or is it something they're doing afterwards?
No, it was a true GM upgrade.
Go for it. You're not going to hurt anything.
Oh, okay.
Keep in mind, at our elevation, we're losing, especially your elevation, where you're at in Leadville, you're losing an easy 30% horsepower at your elevation. So if you can do anything to get some of that back, go for it.
I'd hate to see that car at sea level, man.
Those cars run really well. That's a great car, by the way. You say you just bought that car used?
Yeah. Well, when I bought it, it had less than 2,000 miles on it.
Really? What'd you have to give for it, if I can ask?
I gave it like 17.6.
Oh, that's not bad. Good for you. Good job.
Well, I mean, you're basically getting a new car.
Yeah, good for you. You did a great job. Awesome.
Yeah, there's actually a lot of them out there that are really low mileage.
Well, in part that's because a lot of those guys bought them. That it was a less expensive car than somebody going out and buying a full bore Corvette or something along those lines. They could buy that car for about half of what a Corvette cost at the time, and kind of got used the same way. Only got used on nice sunny days, and guys didn't drive it a whole lot. And you're right, you can buy those cars relatively right with low miles.
Yeah.
Good car, by the way.
What?
Good car.
Yeah, it's a shame they didn't move it to some other line.
Yeah, they did. I mean, Saturn had it and Pontiac had it, and of course, both those lines went away. And when it did, so did that.
Yeah, it was a shame they didn't move it to Buick or something because they put a lot of effort into it.
They did. It was a good car.
Yeah, and it's sort of because I don't think it's really competition. I don't think it took away any sales of a Corvette.
No, I wouldn't think it would have. If anything, it may have been a stepping stone for somebody to get into a Corvette at some point.
Yeah.
But they probably got rid of them because there wasn't a lot of people buying them. Even though they're a nice car and a great car and stuff, if the volume's not there, then they're not going to keep going.
And of course, when they stopped making them was right after the big recession and the bankruptcy and all the rest of the things. And I'm guessing a lot of that had to do with the financial capability at that time. Yeah,
so
exactly.
they've sold quite a few. They've sold a lot more than they ever anticipated.
They did. The car did really well, actually. I remember back in the day, if you wanted one, I remember back in the day, if you wanted one, you actually had to put your name on one, put some money down, and hold one because that's how fast they sold when they came in.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, good point. All right.
Well, very good. Very good.
All right,
Thank
Bernard,
you
thanks very much. All right, let's take a quick break. We're going to leave Chris with us here until the top of the hour. If you've got questions for him, please call us now. Chris from OnStar, 303-477-5600. I'm your host, John Rush, with Dennis Brewster. We'll be right back. Don't go away. KLZ 560.
Hello, Drive Radio listeners. This is Chris Hammond with Ken's and Leslie Distributing, your local BG Products distributor. Back again this week with your BG Tech Tip. As you noticed, it's getting pretty cold outside, and just this week, our first ski areas opened their chairlifts. That means it's time for snow. Indeed, folks, you live in Colorado, and there is snow on the roads in the winter. That means your vehicle needs to be prepared in case of emergency. In order to do so, we recommend that you carry an emergency safety kit. In this kit, some basics like a tire jack and a wrench so that you can change a flat tire, or even a can of Fix-A-Flat in case of tire emergency are a necessity. We also recommend that you include jumper cables, and in case your battery does die, then you can restart the car. You also want to make sure that you have emergency reflectors or flares to identify the safety of your vehicle in a roadside emergency. A small toolkit containing screwdrivers or wrench is always useful, and an extra belt in case you need to replace the belt on your vehicle. Also keep with you a blanket and a towel, some non-perishable snacks, and some bottled water for either the radiator or for yourself. Keeping these in your car will help keep you safe in case you get stuck in the snow in a Colorado blizzard. Thanks again, Drive Radio listeners. This is Chris Hammond with BG Products. Look forward to chatting with you again next week with your BG Tech Tip.
At Napa Auto Parts, we've been the most trusted name in auto parts for over 80 years. Probably because we've never stopped looking for ways to make the great parts we sell even better. It's a commitment to quality you'll find in every one of our 310,000 parts. From the bacteria-killing surface on our cabin air filters, to the patented damping mechanism in our drive-align belt tensioners, to our revolutionary new Adaptive One brakes. And Napa parts are covered by a warranty that's good at any of our 6,000 Napa Auto Parts stores nationwide. Yeah, maybe you don't get this at your average auto parts store, but at Napa, we've spent the last 80 years making sure we were anything but average. To find the Napa Auto Parts store nearest you, go to NapaOnline.com. Napa, get the good stuff.
With over 125 locations in Colorado, southern Wyoming, and western Nebraska, there's only one place to get the good stuff. Napa Auto Parts.
Your wheel alignment can affect tire wear and fuel mileage that will cost you more for repairs and fuel. Arvada West uses state-of-the-art 3D imaging to align all four wheels of your vehicle. Be aware that irregular tire wear could also cause the need for additional alignment parts. Stop in or call us for our alignment special. Mention this ad and we'll inspect your vehicle and check your alignment starting at $69.95. Call Arvada West Auto at 303-422-1065. Stop by 11752 West 64th Avenue or visit us on the web at ArvadaWestAutoandTruck.com.
We breathe dirty air every day, and believe it or not, the air you breathe inside your vehicle can be even more polluted than the air outside. Thankfully, many of the vehicles sold today are equipped with a cabin air filter to help keep the air inside your car clean. If you are driving a car with a dirty or clogged cabin air filter, not only are you breathing dirty air, but it also puts a strain on your car's HVAC system, decreasing its performance and longevity. K&N, the inventor of washable automotive air filters, has applied its decades of high-flow, washable air filter design to cabin air filters for cars and trucks. These robust filters clean and freshen the air coming into your car's interior and are electrostatically charged to hold dust and dirt. They feature a pleated filter media that helps capture most mold, mildew, fungus, spores, bacteria, germs, pollen, and other allergens, while still allowing a high volume of airflow. They are strengthened by a custom design frame for a great fit and years of use. Best of all, K&N cabin air filters are washable and clean up easy with the K&N Refresher Cabin Air Filter Cleaning Kit. They typically only need cleaning every 12 to 15,000 miles or once a year, but you can wash them more often if you'd like, and K&N backs them up with a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. They come with easy-to-follow installation instructions so you can easily replace your old filter, usually in 5 to 10 minutes. Keep the air inside your car clean and fresh without continually burying and throwing away disposable filters. Find the K&N washable cabin air filter for your car or truck at knfilters.com. That's knfilters.com.
How stressful. You hear a noise, see a fluid leak, feel something funny, a little light comes on your dash, or your car totally breaks down, and you have no idea what it means, what to do, or how to fix it. With how much we depend on our cars to go about our daily lives, you'd think they'd teach us this stuff in school. Luckily for you, you have us. At Community Auto, we're serious about what we do, and we're darn good at it. Having served Fort Collins and Northern Colorado for over 20 years, our family-owned and operated AAA-approved shop has family that extends far beyond our garage doors. At Community Auto, we put the emphasis on care, not just auto repair. Ladies, ever felt intimidated going into an auto repair shop? Scared you'll be taken advantage of? Our female staff is friendly, knowledgeable, and will thoroughly explain and educate you on what's going on with your car. You'll be in the know and in turn be taken care of. Because at Community Auto, we know that a happy car will get you far.
I want my mileage back. Here's some inside information to get your gas mileage back. Inside your engine, carbon builds up, clogging the injectors and combustion area. If you want your fuel system cleaned in just one tank of fuel, use what the inside car guys use most. It's called BG44K. In fact, service managers use it almost 3-to-1.
10 seconds, guys.
System cleaner. To find a shop with BG products, go to bgfindashop.com. That's bgfindashop.com. BG.
All right, Jim and Rush, Drive Radio, KLZ 560. We've still got Chris from OnStar with us, and Bill in Denver has a question. Welcome, Bill. Hello, Bill.
Where do I go to find all this stuff about the apps and all this thing? I've had OnStar for the last 4 or 5 vehicles, and I never knew any of this was available.
OnStar.com.
There you go. Well, you can simply just press the button, and you'll be able to talk to an advisor, and they can fill you on any questions you had for setting up your trial.
Okay, now are these apps that you start your car remotely and all of that? Are they expensive?
No, the app is free, but it's only available to vehicles that are 2010 and newer. So while the 3 months is available to anybody 2006 and newer, we add new features every year. We just added new features this year. We got some for the next model year. So the app, remote start and everything like that only works 2010 and newer.
Well, this is a 2015.
You have all that.
Yeah,
all that's available.
Well, you even you likely have Wi-Fi in the car too. So you've got some extra features you can tap into.
You got it all.
So that's way above my pay grade.
It's all if you have a smartphone, Bill, everything that you just mentioned is available to you. Like Chris just said, you either press the blue button and ask, or go to OnStar.com and it fills you all in right there. In fact, you can even do your sign up, your login. But honestly, the best thing to do is hit the blue button and just have them walk you through it. There you go.
Okay, and then John, the other thing I mentioned to Larry is during your show, I listened to your show in the afternoon.
Yes, sir.
But you never mentioned the phone number, and I've been trying to call in with another question. Nothing. I would like to get a Trailblazer or an Envoy, and I know you have sources where you find these things.
I do. Yeah. So which phone? I mean, the number you just called is the one that works all week long. Also, do you need another number besides that?
No, no, I just listened to you now. But when you do your talk show, you never mention it. So
It depends on the time of the day and what we're doing and whether we're looking for callers or not. And some of that just depends upon the topic. But I will start mentioning that more now that you just said that. I'll do that.
yeah, because I know you suggest people go to one of these dealers looking for a specific vehicle, and I really like the Trailblazer. I've had 2 or 3 of them. My wife has an Envoy, and I'm in this terrain, which is fine, but it's tiny compared to the Trailblazer.
It is a little bit smaller. You're right.
Yeah, it's a nice little car, but it's a lot of things I don't like. The Trailblazer, the seats went down flat, these are on an angle, so whatever you pack anything, it slides back.
That's
and
right.
So there's a lot of little things. I'll keep this, but I'm just wondering if should I call you during the week or?
Well, ask now. However you want to do it, Bill. I can do it during the week. I can do it now. However you want to do it. It's your call.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm meeting somebody for coffee shortly. Is there a number for your business, John?
Yeah. If you want, the best thing to do on that, Bill, is just send me an email. Have you got email access?
Yep.
Just send me an email. Just go to our website, drive-radio.com. Pop me out an email on there. Just go to the contact page. It sends me a form. Fill it in, and I'll contact you.
So it's
drive-radio.com.
Okay, and that's a dash, not the word dash.
That's right. Just a hyphen. So drive-radio.com.
Okay.
All right,
Okay,
Bill.
yeah,
You bet.
Thank you.
You bet. And thanks for listening during the week. I appreciate that very much. Maureen, welcome.
Good morning, John.
How are you doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for calling.
You're welcome. This may seem laughable to you, but I bought a gadget for about $15 from a catalog, and truthfully, I've ordered a lot of things from catalogs that the Home Depot and other places have never even heard of, and they prove out to be absolutely wonderful. So anyway, I got this gadget that's called an Auto Start, and it's a battery. It's a small battery that you carry in the car with you. You don't have to. It gives a jump start to your car. It claims. I haven't tried it yet. I haven't had occasion to. I hope I don't. But it claims that it will start your car from a dead battery in 10 minutes. Can you imagine anything? Have you had any experience like that?
I have not. Dennis, have you?
No.
Where do you hook it right to the battery itself, or do you go to the cigarette lighter, or
Yeah,
what?
the cigarette lighter. You don't have to get out of the car in the cold. You don't have to bother somebody to get jumper cables to give you a boost.
And here's how that would work. If it does work, here's how it would work.
Okay.
It's sending a charge to the battery through the cigarette lighter. Now, one thing you have to keep in mind is those are very, very small wires coming from the cigarette lighter back to the battery. If it's completely stone dead, I don't see that happening. If it's a little bit low on a charge, and you could potentially do that and give it a little additional charge and get the car started, and then let the alternator take over, it may work. Honestly, I've never had any experience with them.
We use those. Those came out years ago where we would put those in the cigarette lighter when we were changing a battery to hold the memory and the radio.
Right.
And that was about all they could do.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it's probably a 9-volt battery, I want to assume.
It's not a very big battery.
Yeah, and if it's a 9-volt battery, it's just a little radio battery.
Okay, John, does my car have a 12-volt battery?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes, it does.
Okay, another question is, do you know if Napa, I could call them, but I'm speaking with you right now, do they have, and what experience do you have with locking, oh, good grief, I'm losing it, tire, stem, air stem.
To lock the valve stem?
Yeah.
I've never, I've never even owned one, never bought one. I suppose they exist, for fear that somebody would come and, basically loosen the cap and let the air out of the tire and so on.
I have a neighbor that's vandalizing everything I own, and I'm trying to.
Oh, I see.
I'm trying to lock down everything.
I think a security camera out the window looking at your car would be a better feature.
I don't think they'll let me put it. I live in a condo, and I don't know that they'll let me put that in.
Can you see your car from your window?
No, I'm in a 6-story
Yeah, that wouldn't. That doesn't help you.
building,
Then.
she
Well, I don't. You know,
she roams around at night, and she's just been doing.
I don't know of anybody that locks a valve stem.
I don't know how you can do it.
I've heard of him, but it's been years.
Yeah,
I don't know how
that's a new one on me. Because ultimately, if they really want to let the air out, they just take a knife and poke a hole in it.
Yeah, an ice pick works pretty well too.
And which honestly, I'd rather have them let air out of the tire than using an ice pick, because at least you can put air back in. Right. I'd rather do that than ruin a tire.
Or call the management, the property manager, and say, "Hey, this is what's happening in my car, and you need to fix this."
Yeah, well, they're working on it, but this person is so stealthy.
Wow.
I mean, I think that.
I think what you need to do is call Kevin Flesh, my attorney, during the week and have him get on this a little bit.
I tell you what, I really have been thinking about calling him about this because this is.
No, I'm serious,
this is
Maureen. I would.
Beyond anything. She's
that's what I would
taking down paintings off my wall. It's been a nightmare.
You need to call Kevin, and I would go that route if I did anything else, if it were me. And by the way, everybody else listening, I would call Kevin too. Kevin's a great guy. If you ever need any legal advice at all, let me get you his number real quick. It's Flesh Law, FLESCH, law.com, and his number is, as soon as I scroll down here far enough,
I believe I noted it down a while back, John. So
if you've got it, it is 303-806-8886. Maureen, I got to run. Thanks so much for joining us. We have 1 hour left. Chris from OnStar, thanks for joining us.
Glad to be here.
It's been great having you. We'll have you back in the future if you'll come.
I will. Just let me know when.
All right, we'll be right back. Dennis Brewster is with us. We'll be back. Don't go away. John Rush Drive Radio, third hour coming up. KLZ 560.
Still haven't had enough? Go to drive-radio.com. Email your questions and comments. Download previous programs and find lots of useful information, including your nearest Colorado Select Auto Care Center. That's drive-radio.com. Thanks for listening to Drive Radio, sponsored by the member shops of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers on KLZ 560.
Drive Radio is a presentation of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. The independently owned and operated shops of Colorado Select hold each other accountable for the highest standards of technical expertise, honesty, and professionalism. They all understand that choosing a mechanic is risky business, so Colorado Select was created by this exclusive group of like-minded professionals who are dedicated to raising the level of consumer confidence in Colorado's auto repair industry. Schedule your next oil change at any of the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers heard on Drive Radio, and you'll immediately see the difference. For the complete list of all the member shops in the state, visit drive-radio.com.
Hi, Dan Miller here. Did you see the movie Bella? It's a fantastic movie about life. Producer of Bella, Jason Jones, will be our guest. So join David Leach, the strident conservative, and me as we fill in for John Rush on the next Rush to Reason. Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. only on KLZ 560.
Freedom, liberty, truth. KLZ AM 560, KLZ HD Denver. Listen live at KLZ560radio.com. KLZ 560.
This is USA Headline News. I'm Melody Burkett. A Russian airliner with over 200 people on board has crashed in Egypt's Sinai Peninsula. Aviation expert Michael Boyd tells Fox News it's too soon to know much about what caused the Airbus A321 to go down.
The airplane was in a very steep descent at 6,000 feet per minute. That's the last radar contact. That would indicate some loss of control of the airplane.
Egyptian authorities say search and rescue teams have found the site of the crash. Unfortunately, it's in a mountainous region and poor weather conditions are hampering rescue efforts. The commercial jetliner was on a flight from a Red Sea resort to St. Petersburg, Russia, when it disappeared from radar. Most of the passengers are believed to be Russian tourists. At least 2 people are dead after yesterday's powerful storms in central Texas. Video of the storm in the town of Forestville shows the wall of a high school being torn apart by winds and a recreational vehicle trailer being thrown onto the roof of a hotel. 2 tornadoes also tore through buildings in San Antonio. You're listening to USA Radio News. I'm Melody Burkett.
Did you know the government is scheming to seize your retirement and bank accounts? Hi, David Fisher, CEO of Landmark Capital Gold Group. Get the facts in a white paper called How to Protect Your Retirement and Bank Accounts from Government Seizure. Transfer your 401k or IRA into physical gold and silver and take possession with no tax liability. Call Landmark Capital at 844-715-7311. That's 844-715-7311 or landmarkgold.com.
It's your night to turn up the music. The CMA Awards. We're gonna have a good time tonight. Performances by Miranda Lamb, Blake Shelton, Luke Bryan, Kelly Underwood, Little Big Town, Eric Church, Florida Georgia Line, Sam Hunt. Plus, exclusive duets you'll only see on the CMA stage. Keith Urban with John Mellencamp and Thomas Rhett with Fallout Boy. Everybody ready? Brad Paisley and Kelly Underwood host the CMA Awards live Wednesday, 8/7 Central on ABC.
KLZ Denver.
John Rush during the afternoon rush, weekdays from 3 to 6 on KLZ 560.
Being an expert on general automotive knowledge, what would the correct ignition timing be on a 1955 Bel Air Chevrolet with a 327 cubic inch engine and a full barrel carburetor?
It is a trick question.
Watch this.
The Chevy didn't make a 327 in 55. The 327 didn't come out till 62. And it wasn't offered in the Bel Air with a 4-barrel carb till 64. However, in 1964, the correct ignition timing will be 4 degrees before tap dead center.
Get ready for another hour of Drive Radio, brought to you by Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. Got a question for the experts? Then give them a call, 303-477-5600. Now it's time to pop the hood and get our hands dirty. Drive Radio on KLZ 560 The Source.
And I am your host, John Rush. No, it's Drive Radio today. Almost made it.
Yeah.
Almost. It's called habit. Drive Radio, KLZ 560. And Scott Watley is going to be joining us at 1 o'clock for Sportsman Colorado. His guests today are Aaron Case from Phoenix Weaponry, who's also one of our great sponsors of Drive Radio. So Aaron is a guy that if you need anything done on your gun, from gunsmithing to building a custom AR-15, I've said this a ton, he'll build you a full customized AR-15. He starts at under $1,000 to have one custom made. Goes up from there, but you can get a basic custom AR-15 with his lower all done for under $1,000. That's a great deal. He's up in Longmont, up at Phoenix Weaponry. Go to our website. You can see him there, drive-radio.com. And then Alan Stack Optical is going to be on Sportsman of Colorado. And Alan and I need to get together someday because he's got some really, really cool stuff we could even talk about on Drive Radio because he does a lot of cool custom eyewear, including some really cool custom type interchangeable lenses sunglasses. So it's called the Stack Sport Pack. Really cool. And I've seen them. They're slick. Really slick. You can pop different lenses in depending upon whether you're driving, hunting, shooting, nighttime, whatever. He's got it really, really figured out. So listen today at 1 o'clock. Scott will be on with him. Alan Stack from Stack Optical and Aaron Case from Phoenix Weaponry. Those guys will be on in right about an hour from now. So stay tuned. Line's open. We'd love to chat with you. Anything that you want to ask us, we're here for you. 303-477-5600. Give us a call. We'll get you right on air.
What was the question of the day?
What is your spookiest car ever? And what we mean by that is maybe you had a car that just didn't act right.
Yeah.
Spooky to drive. Now, I've had some that were spooky to drive. And I have to go back and listen. I probably had some customers' cars that were really spooky to drive. Let's go back and think about that one.
Yeah. I've had some.
Okay, so here's a question for you, Dennis.
Uh-oh.
All the years you and I have done this, I don't know how I'd ever even figure this out. How many cars do you think you've driven over the years?
Oh, my gosh.
Different cars.
Yeah, not that I've owned, but just driven.
Just driven?
I can't imagine.
Thousands?
Yeah.
Tens of thousands?
It could be. I don't know. I can't even imagine. Because
you drive, in a lot of cases, you drive 2 or 3 a day, right?
Yeah. When I was on the line, I would drive. They always gave me the cars to drive home that would die and everything else. You know, can you get this car to die? I remember going, when you're talking about spooky, we had a car that would go. She worked at the Eisenhower Tunnel, and she had a Nissan. Yeah, she had a Nissan Maxima, and you'd go up there, and she would not be able to start the car when it was up there. And so what I would do is I'd check this car out many times, and it would always start. So one day I just asked, can I just have this car for a week? And I drove it up there and parked it, and it wouldn't start. I parked it in the place that she would park it, and it wouldn't start. It was because it was by this big generator at the time. And it was back then.
Sending out enough RF waves or whatever that it would
confuse the computer.
Really?
And if I pushed it away, it would fire up.
You're kidding me.
No.
Now that's freaky.
Yeah, that was.
Okay, that's a little spooky.
Yeah.
But it was all explainable when it was all said and done, but that is a little spooky.
Yeah. And then I had one that had a little Datsun pickup that I bought and stuff. And the guy, he had taken this one L20B out of it, and which was a 2-liter. And he put this 1.6 in, thinking it was going to have enough power, and it didn't. And then he didn't want the truck anymore, and I bought it for $100, and took that L20B and started working on it and stuff. And he said he had a problem with that truck at one time. Well, as you drove it for a while, all of a sudden it would get out of time. It would just walk its way out of time.
Really?
And I'm like, this is impossible. Because I've timed this thing. They're real easy to time for me. So I drop the oil pump and I look and it would be out of time, and I'd time it back up, put it back in. I'd drive it for about 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and it would get out of time again. Well, on that, there's a shaft that drives from the oil pump to the distributor, and there's a gear on there, and that gear's pressed on. I've never seen one get loose before. Well, I put that in I got frustrated with this after about 5 times doing this. I put that thing in the vise when it was hot, and I took that gear and I can spin it around. And it was
walking.
Yeah, but like you say, everything has an answer, right? You can find an answer for every vehicle that has a problem.
So question for those of you out there, what was your spookiest car? As Dennis just mentioned, typically they're all explainable, but did you have a car that just did things that you couldn't explain? You thought maybe there was some phantom living inside of it?
Yeah.
Some guy, I just got a picture from basically spam, but it shows a mouse inside of what looks like a little bitty space with a copper pipe running through it, and don't let them take over your home or business, it says. Well, or your car, I guess I would also say, because sometimes those little rodents can cause all sorts of havoc.
Right.
In this time of the year, they're trying to get in.
Oh, yeah, it's time. They're going to start trying to walk in. Yeah.
No, they are trying to get in. So, one thing we don't talk about much, and we should really this time of the year, Dennis, is how do you pest-proof the vehicle?
Well, dryer sheets.
Dryer sheets work great, by the way.
They do work great.
That's a trick I found years ago, started using them in my fleet vehicles. The reason the dryer sheets work so well is the mice do not like the smell of something clean. So if you put something in there that smells clean, they typically will avoid it and go somewhere else because they don't like that smell.
Yeah. That's good.
Pretty interesting. Yeah. So maybe you have a favorite, pet, or not pet rodent, a favorite pet trick that gets rid of rodents. Call us 303-477-5600. And I didn't realize that I didn't give that number out enough during the week. So Larry, I'll have to start remembering to, so I'm a challenge for Larry and Dennis both. If you guys don't hear me enough during the week giving out the phone number, you can text me and tell me that I need to.
And it's really strange because the radio shows I listen to,
it's automatic, right?
I keep the phone in, I make it like it's, I have KLZ's phone number in.
Well, I do too.
So boom, I can.
It's easy. And that's the easiest way for you guys out there listening to do the same thing. Okay, so let's give somebody else another tip on how to be ready for winter. We've talked a little bit of tires. We did that earlier on. What's something else somebody needs to check before they head to winter this week?
Antifreeze. Making sure you have good coolant. I don't know how they would check that. Good windshield washer solvent.
Solvent and wipers.
Wiper blades are key, and that's really easy to check. Just look at them and just see.
Look at them and or take a little squirt bottle of water if you want to.
Yep.
Windex. Even if you don't have any water, but you got some Windex around. Just squirt the window with Windex and see if it wipes okay.
Yeah.
It's that simple. Or run your squirters.
Yep. And another thing that gets bad is the windshields. A lot of people don't replace their windshields when they get pitted. And then when
they tear up the wipers.
Yes, exactly.
Very much so. Tom, you're up next.
Yes, I had it was an 83 Oldsmobile Sierra one time. I bought it used. It had been in a wreck, but not a bad wreck, but it had been in a wreck. And they did a pretty good job of fixing it. Anyway, got it, and every now and then it stopped. And by God, it stopped here. It stopped out in L.A. and got a new computer on it and got injectors on it. And I don't know how many mechanics there was to. Then finally one day I had it on a guy over Morrison Road, and this was back in the late 80s. And he hooked it up to his computer, or analyzer, I guess it was then. And by God, what it was is when that wreck happened, there was a wire that lost its insulation, and it happened to do it while he had it hooked up.
Wow. And
so what he did then is he just disconnected the wire totally and put a new one in, and it was fine after that.
Yep. Everything's pretty much explainable once you get to the root of it.
Yep.
That was hundreds and hundreds of dollars to find.
I can imagine.
So,
Wow.
Anyway,
Good story. Good story, Tom. Appreciate it very much. Thanks for calling in. But anybody else got a story? One of the things I will get into as we have time, I don't know if I'll get to all of these. The 20 worst vehicles of all time. Guess what number 20 is? AMC Pacer.
Yeah.
The old fishbowl on wheels. There's nothing about that car that even looked good.
What about the Gremlin? Had to be
It's
right.
probably on here. I'll keep running through these. In the meantime, let's go to the phones. Jerry is up next. We've got a line open, 303-477-5600. Jerry, what's going on, sir?
Yes, John, I have a 1980 GMC. It's a 3500 one-ton dually. Now the windshield wipers were working perfect, and all of a sudden it started. Every time I turn on the switch, they'll cycle. Sometimes once, sometimes twice, up to 4 times, and it does it every time. But the wipers themselves are working fine normally, but it's just when you shut off the ignition and then turn it back on, it'll do this initial cycling, and then it'll quit, and it won't cause any more trouble until I turn the switch off again. I don't know if you have any ideas on.
That was real common.
That was a common problem back then.
I'm trying to think. What it was a module? Yeah, wiper module is what it is. Yeah. And if you go to a Napa store, they'll know exactly.
Yeah.
Now the module, is that something that's between the switch and the motor?
On the motor
It's on the motor itself.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's on the motor itself.
Yep. If you can get to the motor, it's really easy to plug in and unplug. They're not hard at all.
Oh, so I wouldn't have to replace the entire motor?
No.
And Napa has a module?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Well, let me try it, because it's just a nuisance now.
It's a pain. No, that was common.
Yeah.
Well, it's the truck's it's over 30 years old, and it's never caused a problem. Then all of a sudden, back last week when there was so much rain, I was using it quite a bit on the delay cycle.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden it just started.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yep. That's
the module is what makes the delay work.
And the water getting in there helps it.
How good a shape's the rest of the truck in, Jerry?
Oh, it's in excellent shape.
Tell you what, that's a truck, and a lot of guys don't know this, but just as a side note, those trucks are really starting to increase in value because the previous generation, the 72 and older trucks really, really shot up in value, and there's less and less of those around. So now the next big kind of collector truck is the 73 to 80s.
Yeah, well, to me, those were the best GM trucks ever.
So that truck, hang on to, it's going to keep appreciating in value.
Yeah, but this one's a long ways from stock, so
it's all right.
I repowered it with a diesel engine and
Awesome.
all kinds of stuff. So
What diesel did you put in it?
I put a 8.2 Detroit.
Oh, right on. Very good.
Oh, yeah.
Good for you. What transmissions did it have in it?
I put a 5-speed Spicer in it.
Oh, good.
So the whole front end is pretty rugged.
Yeah, that truck works well.
Yeah.
Good for
I
you.
appreciate your help. I'll check on that mod, Joe.
Sounds good, Jerry. Thank you so much for calling. We appreciate it. Let's take a quick break. We come back. Ron, hang tight. Don't go anywhere. We'll come right back. And number 19 is a 1957 Trabant P50. It was an answer to the Volkswagen Beetle. Number 19 worst vehicle. 18 will be back, or I'll be up as soon as we come back. Don't go anywhere. Drive Radio, John Rush, KLZ 560.
Hunting down that hard-to-find part for an out-of-the-ordinary car can be quite a time-consuming chore. Unless, of course, you just go around the corner to your local Napa Auto Parts.
Is it Yugo or any of the Daewoo's on there?
All of them made to fit and perform just like the original. There are people who say it's the journey and not the destination, but those people have never tried to find an alternator for an 82 Fiat on a Saturday. Go to NapaOnline.com for the location nearest you. Napa, get the good stuff.
Geno's with a J is your go-to auto service shop in Littleton for all your car care needs. Needing an oil change? Take advantage of Geno's premium $29.95 oil change and receive a free set of windshield wipers with the mention of this ad. See store for details. Brakes, alignments, or car maintenance. Geno's does it all. In business over 32 years, Geno's offers courtesy vehicles while your car is being serviced. They are conveniently located at Bowles and Platte Canyon in Littleton. Visit them online at GenosAutoservice.com. That's Geno's with a J.
At Arvada West Auto, we know that fluids are the life of your vehicle. They are also complicated, with all the different types, from motor oil to gear oils to coolant. The types of fluids, service procedures, and intervals can vary widely. Let us help you sort out what your vehicle needs and when it needs to be serviced. Stop in or call us at Arvada West Auto, 11752 West 64th Avenue, 303-422-1065. You can visit us on the web at ArvadaWestAutoandTruck.com.
This is Isaac Bouchard, Drive Radio sponsor. Since 1991, I've helped my clients save more than $1 million when buying or leasing a new or used car, truck, or SUV. I created my company, Bespoke Autos, to bring this level of service to a wider audience, just the kind of discerning individuals who tune into Drive Radio every week. We handle every unpleasant part of buying a vehicle. We take trade-ins, we can arrange financing, and with decades of experience, our team can truly custom tailor a vehicle to fit your needs. Find out more at denverautobrokers.org. That's denverautobrokers.org.
We breathe dirty air every day, and believe it or not, the air you breathe inside your vehicle can be even more polluted than the air outside. Thankfully, many of the vehicles sold today are equipped with a cabin air filter to help keep the air inside your car clean. If you are driving a car with a dirty or clogged cabin air filter, not only are you breathing dirty air, but it also puts a strain on your car's HVAC system, decreasing its performance and longevity. K&N, the inventor of washable automotive air filters, has applied its decades of high-flow, washable air filter design to cabin air filters for cars and trucks. These robust filters clean and freshen the air coming into your car's interior and are electrostatically charged to hold dust and dirt. They feature a pleated filter media that helps capture most mold, mildew, fungus, spores, bacteria, germs, pollen, and other allergens, while still allowing a high volume of airflow. They are strengthened by a custom design frame for a great fit and years of use. Best of all, K&N cabin air filters are washable and clean up easy with the K&N Refresher Cabin Air Filter Cleaning Kit. They typically only need cleaning every 12 to 15,000 miles or once a year, but you can wash them more often if you'd like, and K&N backs them up with a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. They come with easy-to-follow installation instructions so you can easily replace your old filter, usually in 5 to 10 minutes. Keep the air inside your car clean and fresh without continually burying and
10 seconds, guys.
filters. Find the K&N washable cabin air filter for your car or truck at knfilters.com. That's knfilters.com.
John Rush, Rush to Reason. Drive Radio, sorry. The reason I said that is because this was on last night. We played a lot of the same songs last night. David did. Interesting how that works, isn't it?
Well, it is. Halloween.
Yeah, I guess so. I keep forgetting that. Halloween's not a big deal to me.
It's kind of a big deal to us.
It's a big deal to a lot of people.
Well, because right now there's going to be a lot of parties, so I got to warn everybody out there: be careful how you drive. Make sure you have a direct someone that's going to be DD.
Creepy car story just came in from Chuck. A store that I used to work at, a hearse started showing up in the parking lot. Turned out that one of the employees there was using it as an everyday vehicle. Creepy. That was a little creepy.
Yeah. Not from my side of the fence. My brother-in-law had a hearse when my sister was dating him. He drove it all the time.
That's a little weird.
Yeah. He liked that stuff.
Whoa, that is a little creepy.
You saw that ambulance we had there.
Yeah.
For a while. Yeah.
That's a little weird.
Yeah.
Ron, you're next.
Yes, I'm looking for some new snow tires. I just wondered if you guys had a brand you prefer over another.
What are you driving, Ron?
2013 Tacoma.
Oh, 2013 Tacoma. Yeah. Frankly, personally, I like some of the all seasons that are out. You know, the Toyo has a great all season. You know, all terrain type tire. BF Goodrich all terrain's a great tire. Actually, for that truck, the BFG's a fin. The new KO2 is a great tire.
Okay.
You know, in fact, I have the KO1s because I've got the old version on my truck as we speak, just because they were kind of being phased out as the 2s were coming in and they were a great value. The KO2, fantastic tire. They just improved on what they had done before. You know what? I can't complain about the BF Goodriches I'm running right now in my own truck.
And I've run the Toyos and I like them.
Yeah, they're great tires.
Okay, that sounds good. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. The KO2 is a great tire, and as again we talked earlier, Tire Rack's got those. You can find them there and have one of our Colorado Select shops install them. That's pretty simple to do. Fred in Lakewood, you are next. You got a spooky car story.
Yeah, my very first car was a 1969 Chevrolet Kingswood station wagon.
Okay.
And my father had negotiated the sale. It was back east, and I flew back there to get it. And the first half a mile or so that I drove it, I knew there was something wrong with the handling. it was just squishy in the back. It didn't track straight. But the worst problem, I eventually solved that one. The worst problem was that the engine would overheat. And I did everything over a period of years, over 70,000 miles. I never did fix that. I tried the usual thing, putting in a bigger radiator. I had finally had a custom-built radiator put in there. I think it was a 4-row. I took the clutch, fan clutch off and put on a aftermarket flex fan, that had lots of scooping ability. Nothing there. I put on another temperature gauge, a nice Stuart Warner mechanical gauge, and it was running ordinarily about 220. And this is in '69, so I had a 180-degree thermostat in it, and the thermostat didn't change. Nothing did it, and it would stick a valve once a year, and it stuck it when it kind of would run hot whether I was pulling the trailer or whether I wasn't. But I came back from back east with a large trailer on behind me, and I got shut down in Buffalo while they put another radiator in it, and I got out the dirt trail, and I'm running on 7 cylinders, and so I put a can of top oil in that and put my foot in it and said, blow if you're gonna. And it didn't, but it unstuck the valve.
Really?
And once a year I'd have to do that. So the only thing I could think of is it was assembled in Montreal, and apparently GM had an assembly station there.
Yeah.
And I don't know. On the overheating problem, I thought maybe somebody had put a head gasket in backwards and covered up some of the water jacket.
Yeah.
I did everything else, and it was still overheating when I sold it. I ran through the desert at noon out of San Diego, and was running up to 250 and more. Never did blow.
Wow.
But the handling problem, it would come around on a rainy road at 30 to 35. You had to steer it every second.
Really?
Yeah. And
that's unusual because those cars really weren't that bad of a car as far as that goes.
I got a bad one. It was my first new one. I tell you, I was brokenhearted. Every time I leave the street, it'd break down.
Wow.
The handling problem, I went to the back, and they were making track bars, that would go between the trailing arms. Put one of those on it. I put heavier duty coil springs in it, and I put coil over shocks in the back. Nothing did. And back in those days, Merrill had a drive-on alignment machine.
Correct.
And so I drove on it. Well, also the original tires I got 30,000 miles on, and that time that was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the clue: the rear tires weren't wearing evenly. But I still got 30,000 miles on them, and so it couldn't have been that bad. So I drove on that Merrill with the back. I found out that the camber had camber in the rear tires, and one was worse than the other, and there's a toe out on both the rear tires.
Interesting.
One was towed out more than the other one.
Interesting.
And after I had a truck driving background, I got thinking about that, and I put chain binders on loads, holding them down.
Yeah.
And the only thing I can think of is when they loaded that car.
Bent the axle a little bit.
Yep. And of course, I took it into Chevrolet and said, "No, you overloaded the car."
Oh, boy.
So
couldn't overload it that much.
At that time, I sold it, traded it off.
Wow. That was one that had the rear seat that faced out the back glass, right?
Right.
I didn't have a rear seat in it.
Okay, that did not. Okay, because that was an option, right, to have a rear seat.
I believe it was.
Yeah, and I think the seat did face out the back, if I'm not mistaken. And it popped up out of the bottom, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
And I made a neat trick on it. I jimmied the switch on the rear window.
Got it.
And I ran it up without being in the tracks, and then I traced around it and cut myself out a screen out of masonite screen.
Okay.
So then I could camp in it and run the screen up.
Yeah, good idea.
That worked pretty good.
Good idea.
But the overheating problem, I don't know.
Never did get it, huh?
Gasket.
Wow, that's interesting. Well, every now and then you get a bad one, especially back then. Every now and then you get a bad one. It's much, much better today.
And for the first one, I tell you what.
That's bad.
I was driving a 53 Studebaker with a 283 in it.
Yep.
In a 4-speed close ratio Muncie.
Wow.
And Ford 9-inch and all that kind. I had moved out here in the wintertime, and I hadn't driven it much, but got me out here without breaking down. And every time I went on a trip out of state and everything, that old homemade Studebaker never let me down. I still got it.
Really?
And
good for you.
I'm moving it to my son, and he started his own Studebaker.
Good for you. Good for you. Good stories. Hey, I appreciate it very much. Thanks for the phone call. Let's go to, I think John's holding the longest. John, welcome. You're up next.
Yes, sir. Thanks for taking my call.
Thank you.
Spooky car was a 48 Crosley with mechanical brakes.
Yeah, I'll bet.
You could get those things adjusted perfectly one day, and within a week, maybe one wheel might crack.
Wow.
But my question is regarding a 99 Suburban with heated seats.
Okay.
The driver's side seat no longer heats up, and I'm wondering if that is a common failure or above that, can you recommend a place to take it to?
Well, it's either got a wire that's switch, wire, or the seat element itself has gone bad. One of the three.
Could have popped a fuse too.
Yeah, could have.
But there's a reason it pops a fuse.
Correct. So passenger seat works okay?
Yes, and there's just one big fuse in the engine compartment, 40 amp, that I checked, and it's good.
Okay. So if both of those, if the right side is running, the left side is not, you've either got a switch or the element itself. So when you turn it on, does anything come on? The light come on or anything?
There is no light, but it doesn't heat up at all.
It could just be the element in the seat is bad.
Yeah.
It's possible.
Is there a place that you could recommend?
If you're up in Loveland, take it up to Stacia up at Community Auto. Yeah, they should be able to fix that. It's not that big of a deal to do.
Is the heating element separate from the upholstery?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, they should be able to take care of that.
You just take off the seat cover.
Community Auto in Fort Collins. They're on the south end of Fort Collins.
All right.
Okay.
Great.
All right.
Thanks, John.
Appreciate the phone call very much. Let's do this. Let's go to Andy. You know what, Andy, you've got a spooky car story. Let's hang tight. Take a real quick break. We'll come back. We'll talk to Andy. The 18th worst car was a 2011 Martin Signet. 2011, by the way. That's not an old car.
No,
that's a new car. 2011.
And that's Judy, by the way.
Oh, sorry, Judy. We're up next with Judy. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Lines open 303-477-5600. Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
At Napa Auto Parts, we've been the most trusted name in auto parts for over 80 years. Probably because we've never stopped looking for ways to make the great parts we sell even better. It's a commitment to quality you'll find in every one of our 310,000 parts. From the bacteria-killing surface on our cabin air filters, to the patented damping mechanism on our drive-align belt tensioners, to our revolutionary new Adaptive One brakes. And Napa parts are covered by a warranty that's good at any of our 6,000 Napa Auto Parts stores nationwide. Yeah, maybe you don't get this at your average auto parts store, but at Napa, we've spent the last 80 years making sure we were anything but average. To find the Napa Auto Parts store nearest you, go to NapaOnline.com. Napa, get the good stuff. With over 125 locations in Colorado, southern Wyoming, and western Nebraska, there's only one place to get the good stuff. Napa Auto Parts. Your car's fuel economy was never better than when it was new. But time and miles have robbed your car of its MPG and performance. Service managers recommend BG44K to remove carbon and restore mileage in just one tank of fuel. In fact, dealerships nationwide use BG44K almost 3-to-1 over any other product. To find a shop at BG Products, go to bgfindashop.com. BG.
Can you imagine selling your car next week and saying to the buyer, hey, don't worry, because the engine is covered against failure for life. It's called the Lifetime Protection Plan for the Engine from BG Products. Now imagine having this huge benefit free with your next oil service when you remember these two letters, BG. BGMOA is available at over 20,000 shops nationwide. Find yours at bgfindashop.com. That's bgfindashop.com. BG.
John Rush here. Want to talk to you again about pets, your pet in particular. But maybe you know somebody that has pets, but you have no idea where to direct them when there's some sort of an issue. Well, guess what? Lone Tree Veterinary Medical Center, they are open every day of the year, including holidays. They run special hours on those days. They've got an emergency phone number. So this isn't one of those clinics where it's an 8 to 5 sort of a deal. But no, they do the whole 9 yards, including pet boarding. So, David, I know you've got a big dog, correct?
I do, a 3.5-year-old Alaska Malamute.
Have you ever had to board him?
Not so far. We only adopted him about a year ago.
Okay, so I've got a place for you. If you and your wife have to go out of town, there's no family, no one else to watch. You have family at Lone Tree Veterinary Medical Center. They'll actually take care of your dog just like you would.
That's great. They would have to be very special because he's a special guy.
Well, normally, again, this is a great center. It's 2 stories. They've got a full basement underneath where they do the grooming, swim therapy. They've got a full, by the way, on the upstairs level, they've got a full medical center where they do surgeries, the whole 9 yards. They have got this deal figured out, everything from digital x-rays to ultrasounds to laparoscopic surgery. They've got it covered. Doesn't matter what it is. Anything you need, they can take care of. But when it comes to the boarding side of the fence, David, they'll do the whole 9 yards, and I've been there, I've seen it, and guess what? It doesn't smell like the typical kennel that you would normally walk into.
That's nice, and it's also nice to know that they can handle a large breed dog.
And they can handle it for every day. Let's say you wanted to do daycare. They'll do that, or if you're going to go out of town for the next 3 weeks, they'll take care of that also. So anything you need, Lone Tree Veterinary Medical Center is the place to go to. It's 303-708-8050. Call them today, or you can visit them online at LoneTreeVet.com.
This is Red Merrill for Phoenix Weaponry. Phoenix Weaponry is a weapon manufacturer that services the firearm enthusiast. From precision ARs to suppressors, Phoenix Weaponry can make your dreams come true. Phoenix Weaponry is a full-service gun shop that offers gunsmithing, coating, and modifications to your own weapon. Phoenix Weaponry, family-owned and operated right here in Colorado. If you can dream it, Phoenix Weaponry can build it. Call today, 720-34
15 seconds.
Again, that's 720-340-2496. Or visit their website, phoenixweaponry.com. Mention Sportsman of Colorado and receive 10% off your custom-built weapon.
Werewolves of London. Yeah. It's kind of what Halloween's about. I guess what werewolves and Draculas and stuff that doesn't exist.
Yeah. Chinese
Whatever. 303-477-5600. The number 17th worst car, Vega, Chevy Vega. Yeah, they were not great cars.
No, none of them.
Only good Vega is one with a Chevy V8.
Yeah.
Small block Chevy. PT Cruiser is number 16. The Suzuki X90 was number 15. And the 82 Cadillac Cimarron is number 14. Larry's shaking his head yes.
Yeah.
They were not much of a car, the 82. I can't figure out what they were trying to do with that Cimarron. But anyways, Judy, you're next.
Hi.
How you doing, Judy?
I'm good.
Great.
So I'm not sure if this is a spooky car or a spooky driver. It's probably both.
Let's find out.
Well, back in the day, my dad bought me a 53 Chevy wagon from the farmer down the road. And I think it was okay when he gave it to me, but I was living a few miles away from home. And I was happy with the car. I had no problem with the fact that I would start to turn the steering wheel, and I'd probably get about a full turn before the car would start to turn. Didn't bother me at all. And then I'd pump the brakes several times before they would actually engage. But I anticipated it, and I wasn't a fast driver. It took a quart of oil every 100 miles.
Wow.
And now this is back in 69 or so. So I drove home, and Dad kept the car to take it in for an oil change.
Okay.
I never saw it again.
He got rid of it.
It totally freaked him out.
Really? He just said, we're done.
When you take the steering wheel and you take a full turn before the car starts to turn,
That's a lot.
and you're pumping the brakes 3 or 4 times before you start to get a response.
That's a lot.
So my thought is, sometimes you've got to remember to check the car your kids are driving because they may not realize something's wrong.
Well, that's a good point, Judy. Yeah, that's a great point because they don't know any better. It's a good point.
No, I didn't know any better. I was happy.
Yeah, hop in that car every now and then and drive it for yourself to know exactly what it's doing. That's a good point.
You were happy you had a car.
Exactly. No, that's a great point. You know what? And over the years, sometimes I've done that myself. I'll get in a car and think, what in the world is going on here? And the kids are like, wow, we just thought it was supposed to be that way. It's like, no, this isn't supposed to be that way. So what car did you get next?
A 62 Rambler that had a shift, but no clutch.
Well, your dad needed to drive the cars before he bought them.
62 Rambler. All right. Was that
It was a good car.
I was going to say, was that a good car?
Yeah.
Oh, good. All right. Good stuff. Judy, thanks for calling. Really appreciate it very much. Lines open 303-477-5600. 303-477-5600. Tom, you're next.
Hey, guys.
How we doing?
Doing well. How about you?
Good.
Good.
Yeah, I was going to call about that guy's car, his Kingswood, or his
Chevy wagon.
Wagon. Yeah. Well, my mom, when I was 11, she bought a brand new 69.
Okay.
It was the Kingswood Estate.
Okay.
Had a 400 small block in it.
Okay, yeah.
I guess that was the first year or right around that time for that motor.
I believe it was the first year.
Yeah.
And she had problems with overheating also.
Yeah, they were bad because the Siamese cylinder walls.
Yeah. So anyways, she brought it into the Chevrolet dealership and they figured out what it was after about, 3 trips. It was either missing the steam holes in the block.
Yep.
Or they had the wrong gaskets on it. I was young, so I couldn't remember exactly what it was.
Got it.
But I'm kind of thinking it was the wrong gaskets. Didn't have the holes punched in them in the right place.
Yeah, they had steam holes because there was no water jackets around the cylinder, and that's how they cooled them. They were really prone for overheating.
Yes, they were. But she had that fixed done, and that car was perfect from there on out.
Really?
Had the rear-facing seat with the funny tailgate that could open both ways.
Yep.
I think, did it suck down into the, or was it just the opening pipe? That I forgot about. No, it didn't.
No, I don't think it. I think it just opened, didn't it?
Yeah, it just opened both ways.
I think so.
Yeah, but she got that steam hole problem fixed, and man, that was a great car. As a matter of fact, I drove that car. I was 11 when she bought it, and I drove it when I got my permit.
Really?
Yep. We used to flip over the air cleaner lid.
Oh yeah. Make them suck a little more air. That's right.
Make a bunch more noise.
That's right. Yeah, they make a lot of noise. Yeah, they had a door that I'm looking at pictures right now. They had a door that either swung out from the right to the from the right to the left, or swung down.
Swung down.
One of the two. And I can't remember how I don't remember how you did that because wasn't the latch like down in the bumper?
No, she had the external latch on the right hand side. And when you flipped it, when you used the external latch, it would come out, like you said, it would swing out from the right to the left.
Okay.
And then in order to make it go down, you had to lower the window. So when you lowered the window, it had the other latch on the inside.
Okay, got
in the
it.
middle, and then you'd flip that latch, and then it would come down.
Got it. We had one of those when I was a kid. It would have been the Buick version of that, but I don't remember all that stuff. I was only 5 then. I don't remember all that.
Oh yeah, you were just a young guy.
Should have been paying more attention, but if only I'd have known back then.
Yep, and that car was the beginning of my car repair career.
Yep. We had the Buick version of that in a light blue back then when I was a kid.
Hers was the dark blue.
Okay, we had a light blue one.
Kingswood Estate.
Interesting. That's pretty cool. Good stuff. Tom, thanks so much for the phone call. We appreciate it very much. 303-477-5600. Getting back to the worst cars. So we said the Vega was number 17, PT Cruiser 16, Suzuki X90 15, the Cimarron was number 14, the 55 BMW Isetta is number 13, which I think is like a little 3-wheel car. Ugly little thing. And the 03 Saturn Ion is number 12. So that's a fairly new car, actually. Yeah. And the next one, the 11th worst car, 71 Ford Pinto. There's another ugly car, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't know which one was worse, the Vega or the Pinto.
They were in competing.
Now here's a question for somebody out there listening. If you were to be blindfolded today and stuck inside of either a Pinto or a Vega, would you know the difference? By the smell alone. I think I would.
Yeah.
They each one had their own distinct smell, the Pinto versus the Vega, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
I can still remember riding around in some friends' Pintos.
Yeah.
And to this day, I can smell what the inside of a 71 Pinto smelled like.
And the Pinto had a different seat. It had like, it was a different.
It was a weird, hard vinyl material. Your butt hurt sitting on it.
Yeah, it did, didn't it?
I don't know. I don't know how else to say it, but it did. And the Vega had its own smell.
Yeah.
Now, the Pinto was a little bit more of a carbony, plasticky, gassy smell.
Yeah.
Great new car smell I'm describing.
Yeah.
And the Vega had, I don't know how to describe it. It had kind of its own similar plasticky smell too, but not as gassy as the Pinto. And of course, Ralph Nader got hold of the Pinto and it was gone, right? Because they exploded, right? All the Pintos. There's still a few around, I'm guessing, right? Am I wrong? Or are there still a few around? I mean, you ever see any?
I haven't seen one.
Number 10, 1972 Lincoln Continental Mark IV. I'm not sure why that one's... it was ugly, slow, lumbering, graceless, and just plain boring. It looked like something that Cruella de Vil from the 101 Dalmatians would drive if she simply stopped caring. That's what this says. All right, Larry's answering calls, by the way, 303-477-5600. Let's go to number 10. Ooh, this is a really ugly car. Reliant Robin. It's a 3-wheel car with this one-wheel steering in the front. Who would think that's a good idea?
I don't know. And how can you carry anybody with that thing? Everybody lean one side and the car would tilt. You know?
All right, we're going around left corner, everybody.
Everybody lean.
Tilt away.
Yeah.
Kathleen is next. Kathleen, welcome.
Hi.
How we doing?
I'm good. I don't own this car, but I had a fun, spooky experience a couple years ago in Savannah, Georgia.
Okay.
I went on a ghost tour at night, and it was an old hearse, and this man had taken old hearse and cut the top off and raised it up like a canopy. And then where the coffin was, he had seats, and they would drive you around Savannah and tell you ghost stories at night.
Oh, that's interesting.
Kind of cool, though.
That's a little weird too, but hey, whatever.
It was actually quite fun.
Was it? So was there good ghost stories? There's the next question.
Well, Savannah is supposed to be the most haunted city in America. And it's full of ghost stories.
Got it.
Every house is haunted, and everywhere you went, it's haunted. But
I did.
That's something new. Interesting and fun.
I did not know that. I didn't know that about Savannah, Georgia.
I heard that. That's because of the Civil War, wasn't it? Because they had all the cemeteries and stuff around there.
Yeah. And like I said, the town is full of ghost stories, and
interesting.
It was actually quite fun, very interesting. Learned a lot of history about the town, but it was kind of interesting being in a hearse driving around town.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, you're right. Good one. All right, great story. Appreciate it. Let's get one more in before the break. Reggie, you're next, sir.
Hey guys, I want to nominate all GM cars that were built 80, 82, 83, 84. Those what they call X bodies or A bodies. Where those things, the Cimarron, the Sky,
the X bodies, they were junk. I was in the dealership back then, and with the stories I can tell, oh man, those things.
Yeah, total junk. And
they were junk.
I don't know where they lost the way, but oh boy.
Well, those things were bad. I mean, I was in the dealership at that time working on cars, and the rack and pinions to oil leaks to transmission problems to you name it, they were not good.
Yeah, a lady next door had one of the Cimarrons, and the driveway was next to my bedroom, and man, you talk about. She got up early, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning to start that thing. A little rattle and just.
Well, they were terrible. You couldn't hardly start them in the cold. They were so bad.
No, it was just like a chore every morning.
That's right.
So, I don't know why I felt from worse me or her starting and me having to hear it.
That was one of those cars where you had to do the gas pedal just right, hold your mouth just right, turn the wheel just right, and then try to start it and hope for the best.
Right. Thanks a lot, guys.
They were not good. Okay, continuing on with the list. Number 8 is the Ford Mustang II. They were crappy cars.
They were crappy
They were
cars.
junk.
Yeah.
78 FSO Polonaise? I've never seen this car before. There must be some car from overseas because I've never seen it here in America. It is, by the way, it's really ugly. I'm glad I have never seen it. And here's another newer car. 6th worst is the 2003 Citroen Pluriel. Again, not a car you see here much. They should have just done American cars.
Yeah.
Here's an interesting one. The 5th worst, 2009 BMW X6. I love that car, actually, to be honest with you. That car's awesome. I don't know why that's on the list. That car works great. It's like a sporty SUV. That car flies, by the way. So I'm not agreeing with that particular car on here. All right. We got a few more of those. We'll go over as soon as we come back. Lines open, 303-477-5600. We'll be right back. John Rush, Dennis Brewster, Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
Life has consequences, and a consequence of a poorly maintained fleet of work vehicles is the unfortunate timing of a breakdown. Your customers are counting on you, and one breakdown could be a deal breaker for the customer your driver was trying to reach. Maybe that customer has clients of his own who are demanding an explanation, and so on. How long do you expect to be in business when your customers think you are unreliable? Your solution? Tilden Total Car Care. Using state-of-the-art software to monitor each vehicle in your fleet, Tilden can actually anticipate maintenance items before they become major repairs or ultimately breakdowns. Protect your profits, minimize downtime, and sleep better. Call Tilden Total Car Care today and ask about their fleet maintenance program. Call 303-797-7977. 303-797-7977. Tilden Total Car Care, helping as many people as they can, as fast as they can. Federal in Bellevue and Inglewood, and 6th and Peoria in Aurora.
How stressful. You hear a noise, see a fluid leak, feel something funny, a little light comes on your dash, or your car totally breaks down, and you have no idea what it means, what to do, or how to fix it. With how much we depend on our cars to go about our daily lives, you'd think they'd teach us this stuff in school. Luckily for you, you have us. At Community Auto, we're serious about what we do, and we're darn good at it. Having served Fort Collins and Northern Colorado for over 20 years, our family-owned and operated AAA-approved shop has family that extends far beyond our garage doors. At Community Auto, we put the emphasis on care, not just auto repair. Ladies, ever felt intimidated going into an auto repair shop? Scared you'll be taken advantage of? Our female staff is friendly, knowledgeable, and will thoroughly explain and educate you on what's going on with your car. You'll be in the know and in turn be taken care of. Because at Community Auto, we know that a happy car will get you far.
We've all been there. You're under the hood and suddenly realize you don't have the parts you need. Or even worse, you don't know what parts you need. Well, at Napa Auto Parts, we have ASE certified parts specialists that'll make sure you find that right part. One covered by a warranty good at any one of 6,000 Napa locations. Yeah, finding the right part might not be easy, but fortunately, finding the right parts store is. Go to NapaOnline.com for the location nearest you. Napa, get the good stuff.
Have you ever been ripped off by an auto shop? Chances are you have at least felt like you were, and as a technician myself, I get it. So how do you know who to trust? The answer is to always choose a Colorado Select Auto Care Center. Colorado Select is a hand-picked group of independent shops who all adhere to the highest standards of customer service. They use ASE-certified master technicians who all offer at least a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on repairs, far exceeding most dealerships. Find a shop nearest you at coloradoselect.com. In Inglewood, trust Tilden Total Car Care, just north of Bellevue on South Federal, where life is about helping as many people as you can, as fast as you can. Call 303-797-7977.
Every car has a transmission, and every transmission needs servicing, but most drivers ignore their transmission. Don't fix what ain't broke, as they say. Larry's Automotive is the area's most respected transmission and driveline repair facility, and they'll tell you that most of the expensive repairs they do could easily have been avoided with regular scheduled maintenance. Maybe they were told by a mechanic that their transmission fluid was getting dark, or maybe there was a slight hesitation between gears. Whatever the case, they are now faced with expensive repairs. Larry's technicians are ATRA and ASE certified, and their warranty covers you even if you're out of town. And while there's nobody better for transmission repair than
15 seconds.
prefer to do the preventive maintenance instead. Larry's Automotive and Transmission Repair, the Driveline Pros on Bradburn Boulevard in Westminster. Call 303-427-2108. 303-427-2108.
All right, John Rush, Drive Radio, KLZ 560. Let's go through these cars real quick. Number 4 was the 2002 Lexus SC 430, which that's not a bad-looking car, but they claim it just doesn't meet the expectations that you would think a Lexus would have. But number 3 car, worst car of all time, the 2001 Aztek. I'd agree with that one. It's bad.
It's pretty junky.
And number 2, the Yugo. Yes, we knew the Eagle would be there somewhere. Number 2 is the Eagle. Number 1 all-time worst car ever, the '89 Eagle Premier.
That's pretty much a nail.
Yeah, that was a junk car. It was really, really bad.
Yeah.
I mean, really bad. If you see one of those running around today, it was like their luxury. That was like the Eagle luxury car.
Right.
They were junk.
Yeah.
Garbage. All right. Scott Watley walked in just a moment ago. And as I said earlier, Alan Stack from Stack Optical is going to be joining Scott today, which Alan's a great guy. I need to get him on Drive Radio someday because a lot of what he does applies to even driving. So you brought a couple of lenses for me to look through. What are these? Okay.
The Stack Sport Pack. So I have the frame here that these go in, and then these just simply pop off the frame, just like that.
Okay.
And then you insert those right in. And so it's called, and like I say, the Stack Sport Pack, and very simple. And we say shooting glasses, hunting glasses because Sportsman of Colorado, but golf, outdoor, just any outdoor activity.
Fishing, hunting, water sports, skiing,
and then
driving, all that.
If you need optical correction, then
he can do that too, right?
He can do that in the lenses for you.
Specifically to whatever you're doing for the sport, right?
Specifically whatever you're doing for the sport.
Got it.
So it is awesome. And they do their own lab right there. And he can take care of people.
Okay, so for people listening, and I'll give Alan a few plugs here just because I like Alan a lot. I think he's got a fantastic product. I'd love to get him on Drive Radio at some point. What's the phone number?
Well,
to get a hold of him.
Outside.
Stack Optical, right?
StackOptical.com. Okay. Yes. And they're located in the Glendale area, right off of Colorado Boulevard. There's a big car wash right there. And if you'll
3865 Cherry Creek Drive North.
Right. And so
303-321-1578.
That's it. Okay.
It's amazing what Google does.
I'm telling you. But a great, and they've been there, for years. So, I mean, this is the true optical thing. You're not going to some of the big box stores and getting a kid that was overselling vacuums and now he's over in the optical department.
Right.
So,
no, it's a true optical store. And Alan's a great guy. Knows his stuff. If you want to know more about it, listen at 1 o'clock. He's going to be on Sportsman Colorado along with Aaron Case from Phoenix.
His wife, Jen, are here from Phoenix Weaponry. You're going to be talking about the ARs, suppressors, and what you can do to get your own suppressor. So looking forward to that. Susan Renault is also...
Get a gun trust first.
Absolutely, yeah. I want to do a show with that, too. So
that's a good show.
Get all these guys in and do all this with Rough Reason as well. And then Susan Renault, author of Colorado's Biggest Bucks and Bulls, is also going to join us today.
Very cool. All right. Sounds like a lot of fun. I didn't think you were going to be in today.
I rushed. We were from Colorado. We were in Colorado Springs, and we bolted up to do it because I wanted to talk with these guys.
Well, and I'm glad. I appreciate you doing this. Scott actually asked if I could fill in today, and I was trying to figure out how to do it all, but I've got to get to the airport by about 3:30, and I just didn't quite know how to get off from 2 and get all the way back up to Boulder and get all the rest of my stuff handled and bolt out to DIA. And now, it's a good thing I didn't, by the way, Scott, because on my way out of Louisville today, those of you up in the Louisville area, by the way, I should have noted this earlier. The McCaslin Bridge, where you actually get on and off of 36, over the top of 36 at McCaslin, it's totally shut down. They're redoing that diamond interchange, so I had to take the long way around even to get on the highway this morning, so that added some time, so I'm glad I
tell you, listen to the OnStar, gentlemen, I love my OnStar. Love it. Absolutely in my truck.
It does a lot more than I I knew all the things that it did. I had forgotten about a lot of those features until we had Chris on.
If you're in an area you don't know, and you'll say your gas light comes on, starts dinging at you, and you're like, where's a gas station? You can put right there to list every gas station and how far it is from you. I mean, a lot of different. I mean, we could go on and on, but I mean, it's awesome. I love it. I think it's worth every penny.
It's pretty cool. And you've got a relationship at Linwell Chevrolet. They can take care of you over there also, right?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
All right. So we've got time for maybe one more call. If you want to call in, 303-477-5600. Dennis, what do we miss in regards to getting people ready for winter? We talked tires, talked wiper blades, talked coolant.
Boy, I don't know.
What about steering and alignment and things like that?
Yeah, you can check those things because it is going to change everything when you get on an icy road. And if anything's loose in there, it's going to make it a spooky ride, so to speak.
How important do you think, and I know this answer, but how important do you think tires are when it comes to wintertime driving?
It's just huge. It's everything.
I think it is too.
Yeah, I mean, it can help you stop better. It can help you take off. It's just better control.
It's night and day.
It is night and day.
And a rule of thumb on tires, and I tell this to a lot of people. In fact, I had a fleet vehicle the other day. I was looking at it, and everybody was outside. I'm like, this truck needs tires. And they're like, they're good. They'll run for a while. I'm like, guys, heading into winter, plowing snow, doing what we're doing. Here's what we should do. We'll put some tires on this truck for the winter. Let's save these tires. They can go back on. Yeah, they'll make it through all of next summer. No problem. They're good enough shape to run through the summer. But to run through, and this is on one of my manager's trucks, it's like, let's make sure this thing is safe, ready to go. Let's put some tires on it before winter hits, and we'll save the other tires run next summer. And they're like, oh, okay. Yeah, that's a good idea. And I'm thinking that's what everybody should do.
Well, and I hate when I see people, I'm not even in the automotive industry, but I hate when I see them buy, $50 tires somewhere. That is not the place I want to cut expense.
No, I had somebody on point. Yeah. I had somebody on with me yesterday. It's not even a car guy, but they said, you know what, John, I'm confused. Why would you want to you got these people go out and buy, 30, 40, 50, 60, $70,000 automobiles, and then they go out and try to find the best deal they can on a tire, even though that's what's connecting that car that they just spent all that money on to the road. Wouldn't you want to buy the best tire you can
Absolutely.
rather than the worst tire? So food for thought. We got time for one more call. Randy, you're up next. We got about a minute.
Yeah, I totally agree with your number one all-time worst car choice. I actually owned an Eagle.
Oh, you're kidding me.
No, that was the worst car I've ever had in my life. It was, and trying to find parts.
Oh, they're terrible. So what made you buy that car?
I needed a second car. I was helping my in-laws deliver food. They opened up a new restaurant, and I just saw this one sitting on the side of the road. A mine student in Golden was selling it.
Got it.
I understood why after I bought it.
It's a fact.
It was just the second car, and thankfully it got totaled out. Somebody ran into it.
Wow. Yeah, that's no offense, but that's a good thing for that car.
Yeah, it was a good thing for me. It kept me from putting more money into it. But yeah, I totally agree with your choice.
Awesome, Randy. Appreciate it very much. With that, guys, we got to get out of here. Scott Watley, Sportsman of Colorado, is next. Dennis Brewster from Extreme. Thanks.
Thank you.
It's been great having you. It's always fun.
Yep.
Have a great week ahead of you. Larry Unger, other side of the glass. He's at Larry's Automotive and Transmission over in the Westminster area. And Mindy, our engineer today. Thank you guys so much. We'll be back next week. Same time, same place. Sportsman of Colorado is next. And don't forget Rush to Reason on Monday right here on KLZ 560. Every weekday, 3 to 6 p.m. God bless. Have a great weekend. And happy Halloween. Don't forget, I didn't mention this today, to turn your clocks back tonight. You get an extra hour of sleep. That's it. I'm out of here. John Rush Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
Still haven't had enough? Go to drive-radio.com.